We weren't going anywhere, so it's like.
All right.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening. Ready to start? I don't have the gavel, so I have to use my hand. Good evening, everyone. My name is Wanda Wheatley. I'm the Commissioner Chair for the Cottage City Commission. Today is March 12th, 2025. The time is 7:11. I apologize. We are running a little late. Had some technical difficulties. So we'll start off with our roll call, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll start with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
Present. Present.
Henderson, Present.
Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley is present.
Ward 4, Givens present.
At large, Brooks, present.
Thank you. All 5 of our commissioners are present and accounted for. Next, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone will please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. We have quite a long agenda tonight, so we're going to try to get through it as quickly as possible. And we do have some guests in the audience this evening, so we'll try to get to you as quickly as possible as well. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Any edits, corrections, changes, comments? If not, we'll go with the agenda as it is tonight. I did want to move a few things around. Where is, okay. So we have Joseph Pruden from Congressman Ivey's office. And we have the commissioner's reports. And then we have our consent agenda, which is public safety, public works, the approval of the financials, and approval of the minutes. So I did provide my edits to the town manager for the minutes for January and February. Did anyone else have any edits, comments? Did she made, Elizabeth made the edits? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Yep. Okay. All right, so hearing no comments or edits, we'll just keep the minutes as they are with the edits that I provided. Any comments, questions in regards to the financial reports for February? We'll start with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
My question was, have you gotten
We have donations that came in for Cottage City Day, and once everything comes through, as Todd even had mentioned, don't worry about the overage on Cottage City Day because it all fluctuates throughout. So that's why you keep honing in on Cottage City Day. That's not going to be an issue.
Well, it's just such a high amount.
Okay. I understand why.
But it's not that amount. So understand, this is how a budget works. You set a budget, let's just say $1,000, right? And you spend $2,000, right? So that's what's going to be reflective on the financials. But you got $1,000 in donations. Well, that $1,000 in donations will only show up on the revenue side. Do you understand what I'm saying? It will show up as a revenue. It won't show up because your budget is your budget, because from what the town set, That's what the town said as far as what they were willing to spend, not necessarily what was being spent in totality. So if Mr. Brown donated another $1,000, well, Mr. Brown donated that to the town and to add to pay for some of the cost associated with Cottage City. It will not change in regards to, I mean, there is a mechanism to find out what that balance is, but this is not the mechanism that you're looking at and saying $5,000 that's not it.
So you're saying when you get contributions specifically for Cottage City Day, they are not applied to the Cottage City Day amount?
It's not applied to the Western End because that's not in regards to the budgeted amount. The budgeted amount, and so when we go over, you have to go to the revenues and identify what those revenues are associated with that, and then you can manually balance that. But as far as the documentation, it shows that that the $1,000 is what we budgeted. We spent $2,000, but at some point, somebody's got to factor in the $1,000 that Mr. Brown donated towards Cottage City Day. You see what I'm saying? But it's not going to be reflective on this data sheet right here. That's a question we need to pose.
Is that the end of your question?
I guess so.
Okay. Ward 2?
Henderson, Ward 2 has no question.
All right. I don't have any comments on the financials for this night, this report. In
Ward 4, no comments.
Ward 4?
No comments.
At large, no comments at this time. Thank you.
All right. So we have public safety. No, before we do that, we need a motion to approve the February and January minutes for 2025 and the financial report for February. Is there a motion to approve?
Brooks, so moved as read.
Henderson, second.
Okay, Commissioner Brooks made the motion, Commissioner Henderson second the motion. We will call for the vote. We will start in order with Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
I'm going to pass at this point because I haven't had a chance to read it all.
Okay, so you're going to abstain?
Right.
Okay. Ward 1 abstains. Ward 2?
Ward 2?
Aye.
Aye. No.
Ward 3, aye.
Ward 4, aye.
At large, aye.
We had 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Motion still passes. Next on our consent agenda is public safety. Is that, Chief, you want to take that real quick?
Yes, real quick. The thing is that the police department is working on right now, we had a couple of theft from autos that occurred in the community. We get these every so often. We get like theft from auto. Theft from auto. No, I'm sorry. Theft from auto incidents that occurred in the area. What we're doing right now, we're passing out information out to those streets that had been hit. Let them know to please don't keep any items of value inside their vehicles and lock their doors. We have individuals walking around town, grabbing on door handles. Any doors are open, they're going through the car trying to get change or anything of value inside the vehicles. Also, the hot item in the region is your handicap placards. Please make sure that, if you park in front of your house, take those placards off your mirror because people are breaking into the cars, again, those placards and selling them. So please watch out for your placards for your handicap. Also, we're working on the traffic that's coming through the town of Cottage City because of people going back to work in the government. We have an increase in our mornings and evening commutes. Right now, 38th is coming a major roadway where people are transiting through, and their GPSs, when they're using Waze or GPS, is having them cut through our town to actually avoid the backup on 38th by Bladensburg Road. So The reason why I know this is happening is because some of the people we pulled over today and a couple weeks ago, they're showing me their phones where Waze or GPS are showing them to cut through the town. And that's why the volume is going up, as well as when one car go through, several cars follow through. So what we try to do today is we try to see if possible we can try to change the behavior patterns by passing out literature to people that are coming down the street. When we were parking down the bottom of the hill, people came in and when they saw us, they started doing U-turns and trying to go back out. It was causing a problem where it was unsafe, where people were trying to avoid getting caught by the police. We weren't issuing citations, we were just going to give them flyers, but they were causing a bottleneck up top of the hill. So we decided to get a little bit further up the hill and start using cones. That worked very well, but of course it's going to inconvenience people that live in the town. So what we're going to try to do tomorrow is try to get better signage so that people that live in the town come in the town, and try to probably put our cruisers a little bit further on 40th. And if I have enough officers, probably put another person over there on Bunker Hill, because people do split. Some people go down Bunker Hill, some people go down 40th. That's why today we tried to do something in front of the station where we catch them before they get to the split. Because I know for a fact that we might gonna have enough people to do it on a constant basis. We're trying to do something now to actually get people to understand that transit through our town, get them to understand that you can't come through the town no more, and maybe they change their patterns by going elsewhere to actually get back to home. Because right now, when we start doing this program today, traffic between the hours of 4:30, I say between 4:30 and 5:30 is where we got major traffic. We had line all the way up to Royal Avenue. So even if we do let people come through the town that are residents, which probably like 20 or 30 people that use that way to come home, it's not going to, how can I say, if we still do this but let our residents in here, we still going to have that backup until people realize that, hey, this is not a good way for me to come home, and reroute themselves a different way. So it's going to take time, because what happens is once we do this for a couple weeks and show them that, you can't cut through our town, they're going to find other ways to get home. But in the meanwhile, we won't have a crunch. We can't keep everybody happy right now, but what I can do is try to find some kind of way to actually allow our residents to come in town and try to catch people at the bottom of the hill and try to see if we can weed them out there. We're trying to start our citations April 1st, so we give people enough time, that we give them enough warning period, that we pass these little flyers out to them saying, hey, look, no more cutting through our town, and hopefully they'll learn from it. Today, it was successful in reference to we had less cars coming through our town, but today we had some people that were inconvenienced. So we're trying to find ways to actually try to find medium ground where we can get our residents through here without inconvenience them, but at the same time deter the people cutting through our town. And that's all I have to say about that. We are working toward having our Easter event this year. We asked for volunteers, whoever want to come out and help out with the Easter egg hunt. Please get in contact with me or John. And that's all I have for the police report.
I also want to make it known that we also have been in touch with Google Maps to let them know about the sign that we did install that's local traffic only. So hopefully it will deter, once we can get it established with Google, that they won't be directing people to be using this route as a cut through town. And I plan to stay on top of that to make sure that that's done to rectify the situation. I sat here yesterday and I watched tons of traffic come down this road, come speeding through 40th Avenue. And so that is the reason why I made sure today that we've started this enforcement, making sure this is being handled. And thank you, Chief, for stepping up. Thank you, everyone, to be on board to get this done. But this is a priority, and we definitely are going to take action on this. So we're sorry about the inconvenience that residents are going through, but hopefully the outcome will be successful.
I have a question. I see Mr. I see his hand. Give me a second. I have a question for you. When you said you notified Google Maps, does that also notify Wave, or only Google Maps?
I'll have to check and find out, but I know we notified Google Maps. We put in the segment the part that is local traffic only, I will check about the ways.
Okay.
And I'll get back with the commission about it.
Okay, and then I just thought of something else. I know we have not discussed this before, but maybe it's something we want to think about in the future, and maybe Chief can, and Mr. Best can look into it. Maybe we should put speed cameras on the residential streets. Will that help to slow down some of the traffic coming through, that's cutting through? I don't know if that's possible. I'm just saying, maybe we could look into that.
Well, we can, but that's up to the vendor to see if we have enough volume for them to actually benefit for putting one up, the volume. But what we're trying to do is eliminate the volume. So what happens, if you allow them to come through, that's fine. But what happens is, I'm like this. I'm weighing safety over convenience right now. I'm trying to make sure that people are safe first, and then once we see we can tweak it a little bit, start getting our residents back through without inconveniencing them. And what we see today was a test run, and I think we have room to actually do some kind of way where we actually get our residents back in without going all the way around. At the same time, still be effective of deterring other people from coming through, and that's with citations. So I think, hopefully, they pass a law for the stop sign, so we activate that sign right there. So once we get that sign activated this year, hopefully, once it goes through, we can have that as an enforcement piece if we're not available. But at the same time, we'll have officers available to try to do some citations and get the word getting out. They can probably, hopefully, stop coming through our town.
Okay.
But right now, we don't want to inconvenience our residents as much.
No, I'm not saying inconvenience our residents. I'm just saying, and I'm talking about safety when I'm talking about the speed cameras. If people are speeding through our town, as we know they do, it's not just during rush hour. They speed through this town
exactly.
during regular day. It doesn't matter. They speed in the daytime, they speed at nighttime. We've all seen it.
Right.
So I'm just saying maybe that's another option.
Yeah, it's an option, and we can
If we
look
could
into
just
it.
look into it.
But it's up to the provider to see if it's going to be beneficial to them to put one in, because we don't pay for the camera. The camera is given to us for free, with them getting their money on the back end. So what happens is, if the volume is not there, they won't put one in. But I can have them come and do it.
Well, at least do a study.
Hold on. You keep. I want to correct him in something, because I don't want you guys to misunderstand. It's not about the volume. It's not about the volume. When they do a test, it's not about the volume of cars. It's about the cars while doing the test that are in violation.
Right. Oh,
Because
exactly.
because it doesn't matter. If 1 million cars come through there, if only 10 are in violation, they're not going to put a camera up. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want you to be.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Well, I
Yeah, he
want to
corrected me.
clarify.
It's volume of people over the citation, over the
Right.
speed limit.
And the reality, and let's be honest, because, to be honest with you, I don't think the speed camera on 38th is going to generate any income, any significant income, because of the distance that you have to travel enough to be able to get up to the 12th mile an hour over the posted speed limit. The town speed limit, residential, is 25 miles an hour. You're talking about the person would have to go 37
37.
in order to get a ticket. Ain't nobody doing 37 typically here. I mean, you might have a few every now and then. It's just that because you have to stop at a stop sign typically, and then you have a speed hump, and then you have a stop sign, and then you have another speed hump. So when you're talking about that, I mean, it sounds like a great idea, right, in theory, but the reality is, I mean, do people like gun their engines or whatever, or maybe take off, but they generate enough speed, they can't go over that speed hump at 37 miles an hour. Trust me, you will damage your car to the utmost, even though it's a hump. So just be considerate of that. I mean,
right. And that's why they do a study, because if they don't go over the 12 miles per hour speed limit, then it won't be considered a citation. But like I said, I can have them come out here and do a study just to go ahead and bring the numbers back to you.
Thank you. That's all I asked for.
No,
Thank you.
okay, no problem.
We're going to hear from the commissioners, and then we'll hear from the gentleman in the audience. We'll start with Ward 1 and then go around.
This is probably out of the question, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Is there any chance that we could start a process to try to get a red light there? 38th and
They won't put a red light there.
Cottage Terrace.
Right now, the reason why I won't put a red light there, because you have a red light at Rhode Island, and you have one here, and they have a distance between where they can put them, as well as if they put one there, you're talking about gridlock. It would lock the whole area down. And,
Well, it would solve the problem, this problem as well as the problem of pedestrians crossing.
Well,
But
well,
if-
if we
I
talking about
realize
pedestrian
it's hard
crossing,
to
that's
get-
different. We probably, you know, we working on trying to get the flash, the button flashes. So that's in the works.
Yeah, well, good.
But
Okay.
they're not gonna put a red light camera, I mean, not red light camera, they're gonna- a speed traffic camera there, not
Okay.
camera, traffic light there.
Thanks.
But I can follow up next meeting in reference to, the flashing light for you.
Thanks.
All right, is that it? Ward 2.
Yes, I really agree with, to do the study like, what Wanda suggested about the speeding. Even though I know, Demetrius, given, you said that they can't go over that hump that quick, but I've seen some pretty speeders come up out of 40th Avenue, and they even run the sign. So, I mean, stop sign. They don't even look at it. They just go right through it.
My street, too.
And, but I prefer to do a study, and then we'll see what come out of that. Another thing was, people coming down from 38th to Parkwood. Well, we already got a sign that says, you know, you can't come down there from 4 p.m. to 7. But, I mean, I can sit right there and count 5, just come right on through, stop at the stop sign, and just go right past. And I'm not saying that you have to be at the top of Parkwood waiting for them, because I really think since you already got that sign up there, then you have somebody to enforce it down at the other end. Or either have somewhere where you're hidden and pull up on them, so they won't be able to, like you said, Chief, turn back around in the middle of the block and go back out. Once you come down in there, they shouldn't be able to turn around and go back out anyway. It should be enforced. And I think if you don't enforce it, they're gonna keep coming through. I mean, it's like saying, come on down, we're gonna give you an ice cream cone. You know? You invite them down if you're not gonna penalize them. And maybe by doing that, maybe Cottage City will have a little revenue, I don't know. But you know, but it has to be enforced. Somewhere along the line, if you don't enforce that sign that says 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. do not come through there, they're gonna keep coming through, you know? And they're gonna tell their partner, hey, I've done it before, why don't you? And before you know it, you're gonna have a parade. So,
Well, to answer your question, the reason why we don't force that one, the 4 to 7 down that way, because I always have an officer posted where I have one available, but Parkwood and 38. So if you ever come, and I know you saw them, every time during the rush hours, I always have somebody there at 38th and Parkwood, because they be cutting through there a lot, and that's a main stretch. When they cut through there, they speed and they get up to a high rate of speed by the time they get to the stop sign right here. So I always keep an officer right there most of the time to actually prevent that. And I'm pretty sure Commissioner Young know that she see them all the time up there. But during that hours, that's what I normally do, is set them up there, because that's where our most violators come through, is both those corners right there. They either cut through here or they cut through on Parkwood. And Parkwood, they don't have a turn. It's like a straight thoroughfare. They go straight down, go right through that stop sign right there, through the other stop sign, and try to make the other light on the 41st. So I try to keep an officer up there most of the time if I have an officer available during that time of the day. But that's why we don't really mess with Bunker Hill too much, because if you look at the people that cut through, they normally come either through Carter's Terrace down to 40th, they cut through 40th and turn onto Parkwood, or they go straight down to Bunker Hill and turn down on 41st, 40th Place, and go straight down. So it's the point where personnel power, just don't have enough officers that time of the day. Most of the stuff is occurring between the hours of 5:30 and 8:30, and 5:30 and 6:30. And most of the time I only have one officer around that time that be out there that evening time.
okay, well, maybe the scheduling could be
Yeah, well, I
changed
mean,
a little bit.
Yeah, we can change it and move it around a little bit. That's no problem. We had no problem with that. But it's the point where, you know, we can see what we can do to help out with that situation. But our main problem is up here on this end of Parkwood. Because you go down there right there and sit, there's not that many cars that go through there. Okay.
All right, is that it, Commissioner
That's-
Henderson?
yeah.
Okay, thanks. No, ma'am, we're going in order. No, ma'am. We'll come back to you on the second go-round, but first round, we're going to let everybody speak. Thank you. I'm going to forfeit my turn. Commissioner Givens?
So, it's like six in one hand, half a dozen the other. Half the people complain that people come through the town, too many people come through the town, and they speed and they don't respect what's in. And so the only real resolution to dealing with that, and like, while I don't necessarily agree with today's what's the name, but it was an experiment. I do agree with the concept as far as the do not enter sign that was posted up there from 4 to 7. It's a test, I surmise, it's a test, right, to see how that would particularly work out. The only way you're going to stop the traffic is you make that into a one-way. But that has to be done by ordinance through the town. And that would immensely inconvenience most of the town members here, right? So I think, but we have to make a decision. What do we want? I mean, is there still a way to get into town? Of course there is. Would you have to go, you would have to go around Rhode Island and then make a right, I forgot the name of that street, and then come back around and of course come into the town. But at that point, you wouldn't have a lot of traffic coming in this direction. So you kind of have to, you're going to be stuck. Your problem now is if we stop as we should, the sign up there, the permanent sign up there is no through traffic, which means for you, residents, to be able to come through. Local traffic only mean you residents to be able to come through. But half of the people out there driving don't know what that means. So they make the left and they come down and, and so then you're in an educational piece and trying to teach people who don't live in the town. And, I think, so really the only way to do it is because you're going to be stuck in that traffic. If they can't make a left turn, you're out there on Rhode Island Avenue, you're going to be further out there on Rhode Island Avenue trying to make the turn into what's the name. So you're not going to get there any faster to be able to turn into the town. I would surmise probably, I don't know, again, the ultimate answer may be to go down Rhode Island Avenue and come back around and then practice that. But we as a town, if that's the decision of the commission after discussion with the public and stuff like that, then we should educate through constant contact, through posting, through newsletters, and so on and so forth. But we got to make a decision. I see the difference, in the amount of traffic that comes through the town during rush hour and then today. So while I thought, well, maybe we should talk about it first, but it's kind of, so I was kind of on the fence, I didn't necessarily agree with it, but now that they've done it, I see the difference. And anybody that's been in town today, not the part that you've been inconvenienced, but look around the town as far as the traffic, And so we have to think about people walking in the streets, everybody ain't got a car. Some people walk, and so it's just something we have to consider, before fully moving forward. That do not enter sign that you see like that, that was up there, was kind of like thrown in there today as, I guess, like I said, a test. But I do agree that this sign should be put up at Parkwood as a reinforcement, 38th, because you already can't come through there. So, because how do the police, the reality is you can't enforce, it's very difficult to enforce a no through traffic sign because the police don't know who live in town, who not necessarily doesn't live in town. People say, oh, my cousin lives, I'm going, whatever. So they let them go, whatever. It's just very difficult, and we don't have you only got on staff four police officers and the chief. So, and then people, we want the police to work during the daytime hours when the kids are here to go to school and get out of school. We want to enforce the traffic, but we also want them here in the evening times. And so we do have a staffing issue going on right now as well. So I yield back at this juncture.
Thank you. At large.
And Chief, just real quick, so residents who were trying to take a left onto Cottage Terrace, were they allowed to continue forward? I know they got a little
Yes.
pamphlet.
Yeah, we were at first. The idea at first was put the sign up there and we want to pull back and come all the way back to the front of the entrance here to the back parking lot. What happened was when people started coming in, they saw the sign. When they started coming in, they got nervous because they saw us down at the bottom of the hill and started doing U-turns. So now you have 4 or 5 cars U-turning like this real fast and shooting back out there, almost caused accidents. So we said, look, we got to get back on top of the hill and be a little bit closer to the hill so people won't see us at the last minute and get in the chute and then start doing U-turn and be dangerous to the people out there. We had 2 cones that got destroyed. Well, 1 cone got destroyed. 1 cone got dragged down the street. They were hitting cones. People not paying attention to the signs, they're not paying attention to their driving skills. And we have to really watch that. And that's why we're trying to put the signs up and try to back away a little bit. But I saw what the problem was. And like Commissioner Gibbons said, it was kind of good study today because we show how we can shut it down. I mean, I had people calling me all day, say, thank you, what'd you do? People not coming to the streets no more. But at the same time, I had people like the gentleman right here came up and say, look, it took me like 15 minutes to get around to my house, and this is ridiculous. So we have to hear what he has to say. Yeah. And other people, you weren't the only one, sir. You weren't the only one. It was other people saying the same thing. So we got to find a balance where we actually get people in, but at the same time kind of deter the people from going out. So I think once we get through the information period or the warning period and start April 1st when we start issue citations, then we can back off, let everybody come through, start stopping them on those 2 streets and start issuing citations. So hopefully when you start getting hit their pockets, they're going to say, look, don't go through Cottage City no more because they're hitting you. Shepley did the same kind of way back in the day when I was growing up. They're a big enforcement, and everybody rolled around Shepley. So we can do it. It's the point where it's going to be growing pains, but we saw today that we can prevent people from cutting through if we want to, but we have to still think about our residents and make sure our residents are taken care of too. So we're going to try something different tomorrow and play with that a little bit, try to fine-tune it a little bit and see what we can get done.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Commissioner Young, you
That
want-
was actually just a question real quick. I wasn't done.
Oh, you wasn't done?
No, I'm not done.
Oh, God.
So the other thing, I'll try to be real quick, but I think focusing on speed, I kind of agree with Commissioner Givens. I don't think we're going to get people to go over that 12. I mean, it's okay to do a study, but I don't think the majority of these folks, I do see speeding, but I don't think we're getting over 12 miles per hour. I don't think any company is going to come out and actually put the speed cameras in place, but I guess if we want to do a test, I'm good with that. I think the bigger thing, we have an infrastructure problem. We do have to limit this. We have a lot more traffic coming in. Our streets are not meant for it. They're not state highway, you know. Trying to get 2 cars in at any given time, even here on 40th, it's difficult to do. And I think I showed a lot of people videos yesterday of down, 42nd and Bunker Hill, and it was a constant parade of cars coming. And, you know, we got to do something. We don't have the infrastructure to take on that traffic. Real quick, Chief. I mean, could we random cite people? I mean, over time, just over a short period of time, randomly cite until they start getting the hint. Like,
Right,
hey,
and that's what we're going to do. Right now, we're wrapping it up. April 1st, we'll be out there every day writing citations. Every day for several weeks, and we're going to write citations. We want to rearrange people's schedules and stuff to go ahead and be out through that period if I can have the most buck. Oh, also, what we're going to do too is we're going to redo the sign. We use that sign that we had there because the other sign that we did order hasn't come in yet. So that's why we put that do not enter sign up top of the hill. But once we get the other sign that really says residents only, that's more direct. It says residents only instead of, you know, do things. So that's what we're trying to do. Another thing too is they are trying to pass the stop sign enforcement bill for bus stops. Our Senator Augustine, is working very hard. He put it through the first time they had a hearing last week. He thinks he has enough votes to get it through. If that happens, that means that we actually put a stop sign enforcement camera on 40th Place and the four-way stop, as well as the three-way stop over there on Ward 1 side, Parkwood and 37th Place. And well, if it's a bus stop there, we can. It has to be a bus stop. Yeah. But it loosens up a little bit because what happened was we weren't able to use that technology at all. And Como Manor, they have like 5 or 6 cameras up, and people are really scared to even go over there now because they're getting hit. They started their program a couple months ago. It is really working. People are actually stopping at the stop signs. I talked to the chief the other day, and it's really working. So I think once we get those stop signs areas or those, I guess, bus stops locked down, it's going to help us out a little bit with the traffic coming through too. So those are things we're working on. But we want to try to get those sign up tomorrow, rewording the sign, and see how that works.
Okay. Commissioner Young, if you don't mind, could you yield and let the gentleman in the audience, because he's been patiently waiting. You have the floor. Just state your name and address so we'll have it on the record.
My name is Lenny Ortiz. I've been living here 23 years in Cottage City. This is my first time seeing that. I like it. But also you have traffic only. You see? Only the people who live here. That's, I understand. You have to do your job and everything. And the police officer have to do the job. But you're supposed to let us through, no matter what. Because you don't want to see in the traffic almost for 30 or 35 minutes. Just to turn around and come inside. Because I know, you know my truck. Everybody know my truck because I've been living here for so long. I know you're not to be a police officer here for so long, but I know Dimitri because I got a lot of respect for Dimitri and also John. I respect them. I respect you too. I respect the rest of your team member. But you have to understand, sometimes when I leave out of here, I leave like what? Like 4:30 in the morning, 5. And I see some people in just Bunker Hill Road coming up, and they speed up. They're almost doing 60. And sometimes I say, hey, I used to be what you call them, Air Force. That's where I went. And I say, I want to be a police officer again. So I can sit down in there and get so much ticket. I tell you this, I made my day in there. Because I see a lot of people in there speeding up. And also, they drive a stop sign, they don't stop. They go through a lot. And my point of view for you, I know you have to do your job. Thank you for that. And you know I appreciate everything what you all police officers are doing here. But sometimes you need more police officers at 12 o'clock. Because a lot of after 12, that's when all the ventilation happens around here. We have our own gun, but I don't use it outside unless they come inside the house. That's why I keep everything inside the house. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Did you say Ortiz?
Ortiz.
Ortiz, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. I have to agree with Mr. Ortiz. When I leave out in the morning, and I leave kind of early, like around 6:30, they are flying down Bunker Hill to get to 38th. I don't know why, but they are. They do, like Mr. Ortiz said, they run the stop signs constantly. They don't even do a what do you call it, a stop and roll? They don't even do that. They just keep on going, like as if they don't see it. Now, honestly, maybe they don't, because sometimes the branches are hanging a little low, because I know there's a stop sign right there at Bunker Hill and what's the little cross street? I think it's 40th or 40th Place. 40th Place. There was a tree right where the stop sign was is posted, and the branches were so low that I had to actually say something to Public Works to get them to cut the branches so people could actually see the stop sign. Because for one thing, if they don't see that the stop sign is there, they're gonna shoot through it anyway. And then the other thing is, I think, another issue, like Mr. Ortiz said, there's certain times of the day where I think we should have officers posted, so it will deter them from speeding through our town, running the stop signs. I just think that maybe if you switch the schedule around with the officers some, it might help. So I totally support everything you said. Yeah, you're right. Even though it says do not enter between such and such time, they still go through it. So I agree with what you said. Commissioner Young, did you want to circle back around or no?
Did you want to speak?
Oh, I was just scratching my head.
Microphone. I'm sorry, did someone else want to? Okay, you want me to go ahead or him? You go ahead. You go. You go.
Can you state your name and your address, please? Thank you. And turn the mic on.
My name is Romero. I live in 4205 Cottage Terrace. I was talking to my wife through the same, yeah. We both went through the same issue that only local residents can come over here. But I understand sometimes people from different places, they want to do a shortcut and they come through here. But my suggestion will be, if you will come out with a plan, just a suggestion, if we can get a hanger or something that we can be identified that we are from the Cottage City, and that way the chief will know that we have the hanger on our mirror, and he don't have to waste his time and just let it go. That's all my suggestion.
Actually, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to put it out there, but I was actually thinking the same thing. Because I know and it's not just, I think what he's saying is to get the hangers, and it's just to let you know that they're residents of Cottage City. Yeah, and when you see those hangers, you just let them come on through. I was actually thinking that, and I was gonna kind of bring it up, but I wasn't sure. So I'm glad you mentioned it, because if I had said it, it probably wouldn't have gotten through. So, yes, Chief.
I do have money left over in my budget that I can buy the placards, if they can hang on their mirrors to come through, so it can move to car. So if we want to, we can probably give 3 out to each house, probably 3 hangers to each house. So I think I have enough money that I can do that. I can get back to John tomorrow with estimate, and next meeting we can actually talk about it, because I do have some money left over on that grant, the public safety grant, that I probably can use to actually pay for that.
Okay, one thing I would suggest, though, you have to make sure they're Cottage City residents, so they have to prove that they live in our town.
Exactly, they have to prove they live in the town. And they have to have a proper registration.
Yes.
It don't cost a little bit more.
Oh, you gonna donate $500? You gonna donate it? We'll take it. We take all donations. Commissioner Young.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you for your comments. And you, sir, also. I totally agree. I think the idea of having people have some way to identify themselves as Cottage City residents is just an excellent idea. There are a couple other things. First of all, I think that it would be great if we could have some sort of format, maybe special meeting or part of a regular meeting, to have everyone who has an interest in this to come, because this was not advertised for tonight. And it would be great if we got more input from the people who live here. I know, was it last week or last month, one of them, somebody talked about having speed humps. Now, that will slow people down. It will. Speed humps, and as well as more speed limit signs around town. I know on Cottage Terrace over on our side of town, people speed down there every day. And, you know, I think about the kids who are on the street, if they just happen to walk out when somebody was speeding by, it can be very dangerous. So those are, you know, the signs, and thinking again about the humps in the context of the speeding would be a good idea. But I think that mainly we need to figure out a way that everyone can be notified that of these issues, all these related issues and the dangers, and have an opportunity to respond. So whether we have a special meeting or we set aside some time in next month's meeting, I think we do need to get input from the people who live here, because it is obviously a major problem. So that's all I have to say, and I hope we can, you know, do that and get more input from people.
Okay, but thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Young. You had your hand raised, sir? Just, if you could state your name and your address, please.
Brandon Pecker, 4002 Cottage Terrace. The type of studies that you're referring to, what you talk about stop sign cameras or speed cameras, are they measuring a chilling effect of, or a deterrent effect of people not speeding because of the presence of the cameras, or are they only measuring the revenue that would be generated by violating the laws?
But it does, it regulates how many vehicles without any cameras, without signage, how many vehicles go through that area at a speed that's greater than 12 miles over the speed limit. So it measures that. Because what happens is they're not going to put in or waste their money putting in a camera system without making their money back. So it's kind of money for them, but they would do a study. They would show us how many people went over the speed limit, over 12 miles per hour, and it would bring it back to us and say, this is a study. Yes, it's feasible. We'll put a camera here. But we don't, in the state of Maryland, because of they're very strict in reference to how much money the town can keep for a speed camera program, because they don't want it to be like, you know, a moneymaker for the town. They put regulations on us. So we really don't make that much money. We just make enough money to actually keep the program running, because it costs money for those cameras. So they get their money off the top end, and whatever is difference, we got to put toward public safety. So to answer your question, yes, if it doesn't make money for them, they're not going to put it out there.
Well, it sounded like the answer to my question was no.
I'm sorry.
I asked if there's measured a chilling or deterrent effect in the study, and your answer sounded to me like the answer was no. It is a study of revenue.
It's revenue, but at the same time, once they get their money back, it does. What happens? They want to get to pay for their equipment, so it does. And eventually, like for instance, the speed cameras out there on Bladensburg Road. Yeah. When we first started, it was a lot of violators. Then what it does, it taps off. It taps off because it's working. That means that not as many people speeding no more.
Right. If it worked 100% of the time, it would raise zero revenue and would just be a cost center. But that's working. That's the point.
It's working because you have some people don't realize, or some people not paying attention. But it's working because it brings down the violations. Same thing with we put a stop sign. Once we put the stop sign, it's going to make a lot of money. Those vendors will make their money off on the front end. After that, it's going to pan out, and you have less people doing the violations. So it does. It makes a deterrent to a point where it reduces the reckless or hazard driving. So it does reduce it, yes.
But the study does not measure that as well.
The study cannot measure that because
that was my question.
Let me clear something up. There's two different types of studies they do with the speed camera operator. They do like an annual study of the current speed cameras to see how much they've driven down speeding, how effective. So that answers your question. But what they're talking about with these residential streets is a study on feasibility, which is different.
Yeah, but that's, I was asking for that
There's baseline
distinction.
There's baseline data out on Bladensburg Road, so they can do that calculation, see how effective the camera is. But for new places, residential zones in the town, that there's no baseline. So there's really no chilling effect to be discovered.
Well, you'd have to measure it first.
It's
They
revenue
could,
based.
if they install a camera, then they can come back later and find out how to.
Right. So the study's feasibility for a company.
It's all revenue.
Yeah.
Think about it like this. What we seek to achieve is different than what they seek to achieve. They're
Yep.
private industry. They're in the business of making money.
Yeah.
If they ain't making no money, why bother to put a camera? They don't care about necessarily like the chilling effect per se. You know what I'm saying? Their thing is, this is a business. If they don't make a certain amount of money, I'm not even talking about just enough. If they don't make a certain amount of money, it don't make no sense to send my people out there and stuff like that.
That's my point.
Because they'll go bankrupt if they did that for everybody, right?
That's my point.
So your point is exact.
That it might cost the town money to get the desired.
They will not put it in.
Can the town pay for it? Does it have to be
No.
a private company?
Well,
I don't know how this is regulated.
Yes.
Well,
Aren't
we
the
can pay
we
for a
don't
study
pay for the study,
anytime
do
we
we?
pay for a study. But we have a company that will come up here and put. No, he said.
Yeah. Do you have to hire a private company to do it the way that you're describing, or is there another alternative?
There always are other alternatives. You can call, say, highway administration or
You hire a traffic
engineering firm. Yeah, to do it. Yeah.
not the speed camera operator, but a traffic engineering firm will do it for a fee.
Right. So.
No, you won't. No, you won't pay for a cell phone sign camera. No, we don't pay that for that no more. No, we paid for the first one because they didn't pass a law yet to actually generate revenue. Yes, no.
Yeah. I mean, because you've demonstrated that the deterrent effect is strong when you're parked somewhere, people are U-turning to avoid the ticket.
Yes.
So if something works, like a camera works, it will not be raising revenue necessarily. It will be deterring people from committing the violations that you seek to actually stop them. So I've been talking too long. So all I'm trying to say is a study might not tell you what you think it will tell you about the usefulness if it's only based on revenue, which it sounds like it is. So that's just all.
Well, to clear it up real quick, they want to make their money back up front.
Got that.
All right, so what happens is the first probably six to 7 months is all new. So they want to make all their money back and some. Then after that, the money that you do make, because it will drop significantly, is going to bottom out, is just enough to keep the program going. But they already got their money back. So what happens is, it's not making a lot of money, so it's showing that you are making a difference because you don't have that many violators after it's out for a while, because people know for a fact that I can't speed over here. You see how you slow down now because you see that we got signs. So people slow down. So it is the deterrent.
I'm agreeing with you that it's deterrent.
Yeah.
I've said that a few times now.
Right.
I'm saying that the study that allows you to get it paid for by a private company does not measure the deterrent effect. It measures the revenue effect.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, please don't conflate the two, and it would still be worthwhile, even if it's not a revenue center. That's all I'm trying to say.
So it's a whole different system. And in order to try to run a system, so I understand what you're attempting to consider, but in order to try to run a program like that, we already have a system in place where we have to, what they call a verify system, right? So you may not understand it, but what happens is the camera is snapped, right? That information is sent to the third party vendor. The vendor has their people review all of and to confirm that it's what's name. They have to send it, at that point, send it to the police department to review it again. So they said, these are the violations, then they have to look through and it says to confirm that they're violations. They say, no, that's not a violation. Oh yeah, that's a violation. And then they send it through. In order to do it the way you say, us put it in, we still would have to go out and hire someone to run the program on the front end, which could considerably cost thousands of dollars.
That's my point.
These private industries are, well, you still have to get somebody to do the
That it will cost money to get the desired result. There's no free lunch.
Oh, no, exactly. There's no free lunch. So I think, to be honest with you, I understand everyone's concern. I think the reality is the opportunities that we have here, the realistic opportunities for cost-saving measures, because believe it or not, town ain't got a lot of money. So we can't put a speed hump like what was proposed. 25 speed humps were proposed and raised, were proposed throughout the town. Town can't afford that, and I don't want that. I'm not looking for that. Are you looking for 25 more speed humps in the town? You already got.
That's not what I'm
we
here
should
for.
have some, maybe some additional ones, but people got to go out and do the work to get those things, petition to get them in, so that we all on the same page. But I would say we have an opportunity with the stop sign cameras, with the new legislation, and maybe this gentleman can speak to not you, but the chief will continue to speak towards that. That's an opportunity to slow some of that down. And with ongoing legislation as it moves forward, sometimes what they do is they expound the program through legislation, right? Oh, it's working over here. And then they go ahead and release it to, now you could have it anywhere in the town. Because it used to be, you couldn't have speed cameras everywhere. You could only have them at school zones. But then they opened up new legislation to allow them to have them other places as well. So there's more opportunities. And I just think that another thing that we're working on right now, John is working with the staff to get those stop sign flashing, what's the name? I mean, whether you agree with it or not, we got to do something, right? And it's something to try to get the people's attention to stop. And then coupled with that, yes, we do have to write some tickets. That's ultimately, we got to write some tickets and utilize the services that the manpower that we do have, if people are violating the stop sign laws and are speeding through the town.
Steve.
Thank you. There's some comments in the chats. If you want to read them into the record, yes, and then we need to move on because we do have some guests that need to speak.
Okay, I have Josh who says, can the town please communicate to the town about the new traffic patterns? I appreciate the cones and sign on Parkwood. The cones and signs on Parkwood, but will Cottage Terrace be permanently closed between 4 to 7? There should have been prior communication before today. I do appreciate the goal of reducing cut-through traffic. Waze is owned by Google. They should use the same map data. Continuing on, Josh also says, with the traffic exiting, and the cones and signs, there was no way for residents to safely turn around down the street today. So I will say that we will put it on constant contact. Today was about awareness, making sure that everyone was aware of what's going on. And enforcement, as we've stated, will start on April the 1st, which is a Tuesday.
For the no through traffic?
That's right, for the no through traffic.
Right.
Any other comments?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Right, so I know that next on the agenda, it says commissioners' reports, but if you don't mind, I'd like to hear from Congressman Ivy's staff person, Joseph Purdon, if you guys are okay with that. And then we'll come back and do the commissioners' reports.
No objection, but before everyone leaves, just thank you to Cottage Terrace for coming out tonight. It's like our whole street's up here.
Oh. Welcome, Cottage Terrace. You have the floor, sir.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Commissioners. It's nice to see familiar and friendly faces. That always helps. My name is Joseph Pruden, and I am Congressman Ivy's Veterans and Military Affairs Liaison. I'm also a field representative. Thank you for allowing me time at the microphone to bring a message from the Congressman. Like many of you, the Congressman is deeply concerned by the rash of unchecked executive actions taken by President Trump. These arbitrary decisions do not bring down costs for the American people. They do not keep people safe, and the firing of civil servants does not make our government run more efficiently. So, how can you fight back? By leaning on the other two branches of the government. The judiciary is a little difficult, but we have the legislature. We must not be afraid to exert our power. We all have 2 senators and a congressman. Use the power of your phone. Use the power of your email messages. Use the power of your letters. Then call your neighbors in the other counties to call their representatives. Believe me, when the phone calls start coming into these congressional offices and senatorial offices, they start to listen. And it doesn't take a huge number. You might think it would take thousands of calls to sway their opinion. It takes tens. It really just takes a few. So that's what we can do from our homes, from our offices, without even going up to the Hill. If you've got time and energy, please go to the Hill and knock on doors. That's effective also. But also know that the congressman is in this fight. He is everywhere. He is at the demonstrations. He is working on legislation. He is in the hearings. And he is there on your behalf. Like a week ago at Greenbelt Middle School, Congressman Ivey and Chair Ivey conducted a resource fair aimed toward federal employees who had lost their jobs, but really anybody who wanted to come in and get information about being rehired or getting back to the system. 1,000 people signed up for this by Saturday morning, and we had probably 1,500 people through there during the day. There will be other resource fairs that the congressman will sponsor also. Prince George's County had one today. They will be doing one over the weekend also. So the county and the state and your federal representatives are working together to try to overcome what has happened here to get federal employees back to work. And I say federal employees because that's where we're focusing. But there are other people who've lost their jobs and need to get back to work, and they're all welcome also. This is not limited. It's to anybody who needs the help. Call your congressman's office if you can't make a resource fair. If you go to a fair and you're not sure that you've gotten the help you need, pick up the phone and call the office. Anyone that you know or in your family who's affected by this, lost their job, immigrant families, LGBTQIA community, please call the congressman's office and we'll be happy to assist you. And those are the adults in the room. And let me talk a little bit about the youth. The congressman wants you to know of a few opportunities for soon-to-be adults in particular, but not only them. I'm going to send flyers to the chair and to the town manager about some upcoming events. One is a congressional art competition. If you're not aware of it, this is for high school students. They submit their piece of art to a congressional office. If they win in the office, then they go on to the next level of competition. And this is a national competition where lots of money is involved, prestige is involved. You can pay for your college by winning this, but you can't win if you don't enter. And we encourage everyone who put pen to paper to send something in. Don't say my work isn't good enough. Send it in. We have people who don't work for the congressman to judge these pieces of art. And some of the things that come in there are quite spectacular. They are up in the congressman's office. If you have the opportunity to come there for a visit, please take a look on the walls. So that's the art competition. We also want to talk a little bit about the military academies. The congressman really, really would like to submit as many people as possible for consideration to enter the service academies. We would like Maryland's 4th District to have place full. We can't do that, but we'll give it a shot. Why would you consider going to a military academy or a service academy? The 5 academies that we're talking about are West Point, the United States Military Academy at West Point, the Naval Academy in Annapolis, the Air Force Academy at Colorado Springs, and the United States Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. The 5th Academy, the Coast Guard Academy in Connecticut, does not need nor require congressional nominations to attend, but the other 4 do. You can get a nomination in very easily. The process is so simple. You go onto the website, like everybody else, go to the website, fill out a little form, that gets you started. You will also have to apply to the academy. You need two parts. You can't get in without a nomination, and you can't get in with just the nomination. You also have to apply to the school. Here's what I'd like for parents to realize. These are all accredited four-year colleges. They're the top-tier colleges in the world. They're always ranked internationally and nationally. You come out of there with a well-respected degree, usually in engineering, but there are others also. There are 35 career paths you can take straight out of school. It's a $500,000 education. That's like getting a $500,000 scholarship. You finish your 4 years, you've got a guaranteed job, you have a commitment of 5 years, but you have a guaranteed job and no student loan to pay off. You're done. While you're in school, everything you need to go to school is paid for. Uniforms, food, health, dental, eye, everything you can think of is paid for. And while you're there, you have all these internships you can go to. So when you're talking to your teenagers about what school they should go to, apply to there also. What's the worst that'll happen? You don't get in. A lot of people who didn't consider it before have gotten in. And if you just take a few minutes and Google the academies and see who's graduated from there, you'll notice these are the top level people who finished there. So I encourage you to apply, or I encourage you to ask your children to apply, because it's well worth it. Finally, on the youth point, the Congressman's office has internships, summer internships. They're geared toward high school students, but you have to be 18, but it doesn't have to be a high school student. They will run from June to August. Again, go to the website, fill out a little form, get in the mix, get some interviews. We have one person in the office who handles all the interns, and it's really pretty easy. If you're interested in government, if you're interested in working for the community, if you're interested in anything near that, we have a lot of social service students in there. We have law students in there. You will get a different kind of education working in a congressman's office, but it's all well worth it. We are accepting applications at this point, and we will let students know before the end of the year if they've been accepted. Yes, ma'am.
Just real quick, is the internship, is that a paid internship?
It is not a paid position.
Okay.
Which
I just wanted
is
to-
kind of a negative, but the congressman is working on that. It has to be across the board, so all of the legislators would have to pay, or none of them would have to pay. So that's down the road. But I have to emphasize the benefits of having worked in a congressman's office. Okay. Now, if I can go back a moment toward the local government. I want to talk to you just briefly about community funding grant program. If your community is considering a project that can be helped with money, this is a program you should consider. I have to tell you also, we're taking the applications, but we can't give you any further information yet. We're waiting for guidelines from the Appropriations Committee. We have 15 people who got approved for grants last year, and we're in a holding pattern. They haven't gotten their money yet. But this is the Wild West. You need money for, you were talking about the speed cameras, you were also talking about the placards. Those are things you can put in a request for. You know, it's all in a barrel, and we don't have the guidelines yet, so I can't tell you how the selections will be made. But why not? Why not? It helps, it augments your budget, it helps make your town run a little more smoothly. As soon as we have information about this year's guidelines and last year's awards, we will send them out also. So I will send to the town, to the chair, to the administrator, information, flyers about the internships, about the art competition. And let me mention the art competition deadline is April 11th. So that's That's the closest deadline for the programs I talked about and for the military academies. Send them out anywhere, call our office anytime if you have any questions. I'd be happy to entertain any questions if you have them.
Yes, I see your hand, Commissioner Young. So for the art contest, just to let you know, we already sent it out on Constant Contact just yesterday, I believe, but we'll continue to send it out until the deadline.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Young.
Yeah, I was just, I don't know what you're gonna send us exactly, but I think we definitely should put this in our newsletter. So whatever it is, if there are any deadlines, what's the deadline for the newsletter?
Yeah.
Generally, a week before the first of the following month.
The only deadline of the things I mentioned this evening that I have is the April 11th for the art competition. We don't have the guidelines on the community funding projects, and we haven't announced the deadlines for the academies, but that'll be in October. I don't know exactly what date yet, but it's always in October. Anything that we send out, if we have a deadline, we will put it in there, and if we don't, we will tell you to be determined, so you don't have to guess.
Well, thank you very much, and I just think all these things sound really great, and so if we can get them in our newsletters to add to the publicity about it, that would be wonderful. Thank you
I
so
will
much.
get them to you before the end of the week.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Henderson, any questions or comments?
No comments at this time. But I'd like to just thank him for coming out, because all these wonderful programs that you mentioned is really good to know, and I'll definitely spread the word.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson is one of our newer commissioners, so.
Okay, thank you.
I'm one of the older ones.
I think it's been 6 months.
Experienced.
Yes. So, Commissioner Givens, any questions, comments? Commissioner Brooks?
No, I really like the military academy piece, and I think you were saying if we could get flyers, I think that's a great benefit. It had me looking up the age restriction online, so yeah, if we could get that and get it out to our residents. I'm not really looking into it. It's just-
Yeah. We'll
yeah,
include the
it'd be
web-
great to get it out to our residents. I didn't know things like, all the things that they need are provided, so. yeah,
We're trying.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate you coming out tonight.
Thank you very much for
And we
allowing
will
me time
definitely
at your
make sure-
microphone. And
Oh,
feel
we have a
free-
comment in the chat, if you could stay just a few more minutes.
The
Sure.
one comment that I do have is from Laura Grichard. It says, "Thank you, Mr. Pruden."
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All righty. Okay, thank you again, Mr. Pruden. We appreciate you coming out tonight.
My pleasure.
And please say hello to this Congressman and Council Chair Ivy.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
Thank you also for putting out these great programs that you've been putting on.
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And good night. You're welcome to stay if you like. Okay, well, great. Thank you. All right, so we're getting back to our agenda. I noticed that we did skip one item. So Public Works Report, Commissioner Givens, did you want to give us a quick update on that?
Yeah, so quickly, we went around town and we have cleaned all your streets. Have you noticed your streets are looking a lot better now? There's not as much trash and so on and so forth. And so we thank you all for cooperating and moving your vehicles, and when you've seen the no parking signs. I'd surmise that we will continue this in some form or fashion in the future as we go through the budget cycle. My intention is to introduce an opportunity to insert a street sweeper. And that would be a one-man operation, because currently, for what you see us having done, that's taken at least two people. Well, we ain't got two people in Public Works right now. It's me. and I'm the only one. We're hiring for a skilled person, not unskilled, a skilled person, someone that can repair our what's the name outside, as you see, our trash chute, which is a mess. Someone who can repair the hole in the wall up here. Someone who could put that knob back on the door, you know? Someone who, so we want to continue and bring someone aboard who's very capable of doing as a handyman, per se, for the town. So I would say if you look over here, everyone, commissioners as well, look over to your left, you'll see a steel barrel right there. The current trash cans that are out there, we pick up trash, just so you know, every Thursday throughout the town. The doggy bags are checked to make sure they have bags in them, as well as the doggy poo has been pulled, as well as the other trash cans throughout the town. But we don't have enough trash cans in the town. And the trash cans that you see, those black ones, they're $500 a piece. And if you buy 10 or more, then I think it's like $3.99, which is $400. I'm introducing, asking the commission to consider this type of barrel right here. It's a steel 55-gallon drum. They have been used. It has lime juice in it, no chemicals or anything. They're $20 on Facebook Marketplace, and they range up to, $40, depends on if you want. Some people sell for different prices. The only thing that the commission would have to buy is, and I'm sorry not to be able to have this on the what's the name, is the lids. As you remember, as you all know, that we have the current round dome lids. They're about $121, and then the plastic, and they're metal, and you have to have these type of lids because they're heavy and they have a flap on to stop animals from going inside. You can pass that around for me, and just so they look at these top three, and so animals and mice and stuff like that don't get in there and move the trash and throw them all about and so on and so forth. So they have to be heavy enough. So we're looking at a range from anywhere from $75 for the plastic ones, they're still heavy, to about $120 is the lowest I've been able to find it for the metal ones. And so an idea we had is to possibly give artists in the community an opportunity to paint these barrels in some type of form or fashion that would be pretty for the town. I don't know how to say it. I'm not educated, so I apologize. But to make it look nice, right? And beautification, right? So and so I would like the commission, like these barrels. I bought that one myself out of my pocket, so I'll donate that to the town, right? Because it's complicated, the logistics of sometimes, but I'd like the commission to consider at least buying 12 more, or I would say 11 more barrels, and then, or if you want to give me 9, I'll deal with 9. But we got to have more trash, barrels. There's Ward 1 has very limited trash barrels, and so we need more of those. And if you turn around and look, I'm gonna step off real quick, and I'm just gonna run over here, and I'm almost finished. If you look here, we don't have enough dog poo stations either, right? So we need to get more dog poo stations. Well, John and the two Johns, they are working on a grant. They're working on the two Johns are working on a grant to be able to get us some more dog poo stations. But in the meantime, I put up the 2 that I found in Public Works. John and I did, and put another one down at the park, and put one on Ward 1 as it comes on the Cottage Terrace. So they didn't have no bag station. So I made a bag station out of stuff that we have. So I brought this to the commission really to see. But basically, the top comes off, the bags are just inserted in there, and cost us minimal, and I'll attach this to dog poo stations. So, and that's like a temporary measure. But some more of a long term, and while I don't have the bottom on this one, what this is I'd like to get the commission's approval to go ahead and start putting hand sanitizer at all the dog poo stations. We have a whole pallet of sanitizers from COVID, right? And so, we gave a whole pallet away to a school, but then we still got a whole pallet down there. So we got plenty of this. So here's an opportunity to keep people safe and what's the name? And so again, this was just made out of PVC pipe that I found down at the Public Works building. And so you just pop it on there and just cover it up, and then attach these to the dog poo stations if that's okay. Other than that, and we did get one of the things I did request, and the town manager approved, and he ordered them, is these new A-frame signs. While the chief the cost is minimal, because I've seen these as much as $160, but we got them for $99. And so we did get 4 starting off to see how they're gonna come out, right? The A-frame signs. You can do multiple things. You can, of course, you've seen the sign that we put up there. And also, to be able, our idea is that John's gonna create an event sign, right? It's going to be reusable. It'll have like the type of event, the time, blah, blah, blah. We wanna put these all around the town, because what I've noticed is that I've had residents to say, I said, why you didn't come to Cottage City Day? Oh, I forgot, I didn't know. Because they saw it in the newsletter, they meant to go, but they forgot, right? So if we have these around town, we have an opportunity to get more participation in some of these events that we're holding throughout the town. So with that said, we do have a hiring event right now. If you know anybody is looking for employment for the town of Cottage City, we are hiring for a handyman, not just a laborer. You gotta be handy. And you can go to the Cottage City website, and that date closes on Monday at 5 o'clock. And then after that, we'll begin a hiring process and present candidates to the commission for hire. And so we look forward to bringing someone on board and still that we can get this process started, because I got to get back to work. And I can't continue to donate all my time. So when you see me out there, I'm not getting paid. I'm giving you all my time, you know, and I do a lot. So, and so I'm not complaining about it. But, you know, make no mistake about it, I'm not getting paid. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, he's all, you know, he's getting paid, you know, he's doing all of this for the town. No, it's not like that. So, but thank you all, and if there's any questions, I'll take them now.
Ward 1 Commissioner Young.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for all you do. I think it would be good to also put something in the newsletter telling about the dog stations and reminding people that they need to use them, because I have gotten complaints in Ward 1 about people not using them and just, you know, dog poo all over the place. So I think it'd be good to put that in the next newsletter.
Ward 2 Commissioner Henderson.
I'd just like to thank Commissioner Givens for just all the hard work and time that he has put into, you know, into the town. And I really like the thing about the trash bin. But a lot of your ideas are just great, and just keep up the good work. I mean, the town just doesn't know who we have here. That Commissioner Givens is a hard-working guy. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you. I want to echo Commissioner Henderson's thank yous. We do appreciate all that you do. I want to ask you a real quick question about the trash can. How much did you say one trash can costs?
So the barrel is $20. That's how much the barrel is. If you want to buy, and we have to have a top for it, right? You know, for the trash to go inside of it. And so that top can range, depending on the ones you want to get, from $75 a piece. Now, all of this is within, you know, we can break it up to within the town manager's spending what's in it. But, you know, again, we want to be informative. We want to communicate with the commissioner and keep them on board, apprised of what we're trying to do. Some things, everything, little thing might not be brought to your attention, but something major like that, I think you'd want to be a part of it and look at options. We are in a cost-saving mode, you know, I continue to say that because we have to try to cut corners where we can and save money. So they're 20. You can range from 75 to 120 for the tops, and then depends on the artist or how they want to do it. The concept right now was I've sent everyone, and I would like for, I don't know if we can put it on the website, you know, or something to that effect of the different opportunities or the type of things I'm talking about. You know, how the colorful flowers or fish or railroad tracks and choo-choo trains and stuff. Something that's fun for the kids and, you know, don't look raggedy. I ain't trying to look raggedy, you know. So, but yeah. So and so some of the artists may charge for that, and so if they do, then we'll come back before we do any of that, is to bring that to the attention of the commission and get the approval for that.
Okay, thank you. And you said $20 for each barrel.
Yes.
And then lids would be additional $75?
75 to 120 is the cheapest I've been able to find, and I've done the study, the 3 proposals, and I can send that out to everybody. But just for informational purposes, but what I've been able to find is it's like $75.
So each barrel would be
Anywhere from
anywhere from 95 to 125.
Yeah, that's
About-
completed without the pictures. And the other opportunity to do, if the commission didn't want to do artwork, if they just wanted to put the Town of Cottage City logo on there, the sticker on there, we could do that with the, a blue band around the bottom or something to that effect, or paint the barrels a different color.
Okay, thank you. At large, Commissioner Brooks, any questions, comments?
No, just thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
And so I want to thank also Officer Perez and Mr. Joe Mayo for helping. I'm not out there by myself. You see Perez, he'll be driving the truck. Sometimes Joe is driving the truck helping me do some of these activities. But we're going to have a system moving forward. We are going to have a system in place. And your town is going to be clean. And we're going to be efficient at it. And so that's the goal. And so we're committed as the commission to ensure and the town manager to ensure that those things get accomplished. So if you have any suggestions or recommendations, and I like that recommendation you made. I didn't even think of that one, but that's a good idea. Sir?
Recommendation for those trash cans?
Huh?
Go to like 4x4, dig it in the floor, and then put a 2 rebar in the side, and you can twist it around.
You know what? I've seen that system, and but it's not necessary because what we do is it's not a bare. We put liners in all the trash cans. So when we pull the trash, we tie it off. I put it in the truck. You know what I'm saying? And so then when we come back, that's why I pull the trash on Thursday. You know why? Because when is trash day? On Friday. You see what I'm saying? So the system, so we ain't got a whole bunch of, what I don't want is a bunch of trash sitting in the trash bins and getting rats and stuff like that. But it's easier to just do it the way we're doing it because otherwise you'll have just water and soda and spillage
No,
coming
but
out.
you have the lid on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put the lid, but you also put the trash bag inside. Then you can put the bag.
Right, I'm going to pull the bag. That's it. That's what I'm saying. So the stakes and making it tilt like that, I've seen that system. It's not necessary for what we're trying to do because that's not going to be stable. It's going to sit on a 2x2 platform so nobody will steal the barrels. And, so we'll just tie them off. It's just easy to pull them off like we do now. We just pull out of those $500 trash cans, and I imagine maybe we got grants for them in the past. I don't know. But this is a quick, short-term solution, and I think we can continue to make it look good. So if there's nothing else, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Givens. We're going to continue with our agenda for tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, you have a comment in the chat?
It's from Josh. It says, if the commission does acquire the barrels, I think kids should be allowed to paint several at Easter or Cottage City Day. And I also want to say thank you to Commissioner Givens and Commissioner Brooks, as well as Joe Mayo, Officer Perez, and the Chief for helping during this transition in our Public Works Department. I'm very excited about our new skilled Public Works laborer who will hopefully be coming on board soon. We will have standard operating procedures now. I'm very happy that Commissioner Givens has serviced our equipment, something that had not been done in a long time. We discovered that there were a lot of deficiencies down in that department, so we're moving steps forward. So we're very excited about that. So I think you all, as residents, should be seeing that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Durant, for your comment. Yes, sir.
I'm a truck master mechanic. Let's say you need anything, help with your trucks. I'm here to fix it because I do overhaul, I do anything.
So you said you're a master mechanic. You can do our vehicles. Okay, good to know. We have to get your contact information. All right, so next up are the commissioners' reports. We'll start with Ward 1, Commissioner Young. Thank you.
Okay, you heard.
Ward 2, Commissioner Henderson.
Yes, I'd like to, I'm glad to see that on the corner house on 40th Avenue, the Latta family came down, and also I noticed that it was a car there that was very hazardous that was up on Jack, but they took that down finally. I was just wondering, was the drainage issue addressed in the back of Mr. Kopecki?
They are currently, I know, still working on that. I know CPJ and DNF Construction are still coming out to work on that issue. DNF Construction did come out with Commissioner Givens and myself, and I know CPJ is in the process of, once they come out, they're going to be out here shortly working on the 43rd Avenue project with myself, so we should be able to have an assessment, but we feel that it should be an easy remedy to the situation.
Should be an easy remedy?
Easy remedy to the situation. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson. So I'm just going to report out real quick. So last week I did attend the MMA conference in Annapolis. So that's the Maryland Mayors Association. Even though we don't have a mayor form of government, I did represent Cottage City. So I came back with a lot of good information. There, what do you call it? There's, they talked about AI and the different uses for AI. So one thing we can do is use AI to catch up on our minutes. So we're going to talk about that more at the next work session to give you guys more information on that. Another thing they talked about was MML offers training to municipalities. They will help you set your goals. They will help you do strategic planning, and they'll help you with team building and how to work through difficult situations. So they offer all these services at a discounted rate. And I know that in the past we had been talking with Mr. Galloway about doing some kind of retreat or, team building exercise to help us, build a better, stronger team so we're more cohesive. And MML will offer that service at a discounted rate. So I believe if you have under 10,000 residents, it's $2,500, and then you have more than 10,000 residents, it's $4,000 or something like that. But I'll be bringing more information back to the commission in regards to all the things that I learned while I was at the conference. It was a really good conference, even though it was only 2 days. It was a lot of good information. They talked about the executive orders. They talked about how that's going to affect our budget. As we know, the state of Maryland budget is very tight. We're in a deficit. They talked about that. So it was really good information that I'll be sharing with the town manager, which will come to the commission. And that's it for me. Ward 4, Commissioner Givens.
Yeah, so I don't really have anything to report out, but I would like to ask, in looking at that picture I sent around, do you guys want the plastic dome or you want the metal dome? And how many barrels would you authorize me to purchase?
Well, for me, I'll just speak for me. I would prefer a metal top versus plastic because I just feel like plastic, it gets...
Okay.
With animals and little critters, it can be a issue, but I don't know, how much does the metal cost versus the plastic?
It's $121 is the best I've been able to find for the metal. Mm-hmm. And
that's the cheapest.
That's the cheapest. Yeah, I've seen them as much as 160.
Okay, wow. So I know that's a little steep, but personally, I prefer metal, but I will definitely go with whatever the majority wants to do.
Yeah, I say metal. I think plastic, it's going to be too much chipping, cracking, fading, everything else. So $121 doesn't seem unreasonable. I mean, $20 for a barrel plus that when we're paying, almost $600 now for these other cans that really don't look that great at all. So, yeah, I'm good with metal, preferably. Look, I know everyone thinks I'm cheap, but quite frankly, 4 years down the road, not even that, I think with plastic, we're just going to be replacing them a couple years down the road, or it's just going to look like trash after a while, and then people are going to be upset that we have all these trash cans that look like garbage. So, yeah, my preference is metal.
Commissioner Young?
I'll go along with metal. It's also easier to paint, I would think.
I would agree. A metal top.
And how many trash cans can am I authorized to start with?
What kind of budget?
Of course, I like 11, but I'll take 9. Yeah, you know.
And, I mean, you're
I'll
going to
take
put them
7.
throughout the town all over?
Yeah, we need trash cans. We definitely need more trash cans. And so, you know, we got 1, so.
You have more than one.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, that kind?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm talking about that.
This style.
Oh, that style, okay.
Mhm. Well, you're thinking about it. How about getting the other one's
Yeah,
opinion?
you go to somebody else.
John?
I mean, look, if we can take this from somewhere, I mean, 10's not unreasonable. It's not that high of a cost. That's what I'm saying. If we can take that budget from somewhere else, that we're really not using it. I'm not that cheap.
You are, Chet.
Oh yeah, I am.
John, you are.
No, but I mean, look, it's not that high of a budget item that if we can pull it from somewhere that we're really not using it.
Okay.
I think it's for a good cause. I think everybody agrees. They don't want to see the trash around. You know, the green team's been cleaning up trash the
They've been doing a great job.
last month, and it's horrible to see that much trash. So, but I mean, there needs to be a place to put it. So, I think it's a good investment. So, I think 10, 11, it's fine with me.
I get 12, 4 for each ward.
Well, you're gonna have
Or
12
three-
because
three for
I'm
each.
giving the town 1.
Okay, well then I'd go for 11.
11, okay.
3 for each.
I'll go for about 11. Yeah, I hope we got the money.
We'll find it. I mean, we're not gonna go over budget. You know, there's money in the budget in the maintenance. We'll find it. If not, we'll come back and ask you for it.
I feel we got the money. Yes, 11.
Okay, sound like you have your number.
You didn't say. You can show some support and for the trash.
I support the trash cans. I didn't say anything. I'm
Thank you.
just saying, I support you. You know that.
Well, thank you all. Appreciate it.
All righty. So that was your report, right? Yes. Okay, so at large.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. Huge shout out to the green team. As I just mentioned, they've been working with CCAN. We've been working with CCAN for about a month now, cutting invasive vines from the trees. Bill, I see you out there. But you don't see an immediate impact, but you're going to see an impact over the next year and a half, where all these trash trees, you know, with vines growing up them, you're going to start seeing them shed those vines, much like you see with the spruce tree out here. It's turning brown, and then after a while, they all start falling off. After a while, it just looks like trash when you have all the trees with vines in them. So huge thank you to the green team, and huge shout out. They did amazing jobs in CCAN. Working with the chief and Commissioner Givens, we're going to really try to kind of tag all the drainage systems in the town. It's obviously not our responsibility, but it is our responsibility to identify them. We don't want any flooding in the town, so over the next probably 2 weeks, I'm going to go through, identify all the drainage areas in town, and then we're going to start getting 311 tickets in. The drainage systems, yeah, so, I'm sorry, I can pull this closer. But then the chief brought up a really good point, that there's a way that we can get it so that the county comes out habitually or frequently, and they start taking care of it without having us to put in 311 tickets constantly. And then another big kudos and thank you to Commissioner Givens and the chief for just kind of helping clear out the end of Cottage Terrace. You guys all know, far before I was on the commission, I complained a lot about the end of Cottage Terrace. There's actually a drain underneath the concrete, and it's been completely backed up. And if you understand, that backs up every other drainage system throughout Cottage Terrace. So as it hits up here at the Bunker Hill, all that water is running down, and it's basically backing up at the end. So, yeah, we got all the invasive vines out of there and trying to clean it up a little bit, and then the chief put in a ticket. So, what was it, April 9th? They're coming out? Oh, June 9th. Either way. I mean, 10 years, you know, a couple months, you know. But, you know, it's good that they're coming out and starting to, you know, take care of these things. And so, yeah, just thank you to everybody for kind of chipping in to get all these projects done. So, thank you.
All right.
I give one more big shout out.
Sure.
I'm sorry. To John Hotzen, who's done an amazing job. Yeah, I'm John. I'm going to let you actually announce that one. But I just want to say, you know, in December it was extremely chaotic, and I was ready to kind of table this grant. And John was like, no, you already wrote it. Let's get it through. And so,
Right. So we're very
Thank
excited
you.
to announce tonight that through the Chesapeake Bay Trust, the grant that Commissioner Brooks wrote along with Denise Hamler, the town of Cottage City has been awarded $70,000 for maintenance of Cottage City vast tree canopy and invasive species training for the community. So congratulations to everyone involved, and we're very excited about this. This will hopefully help us to clear the area around the old firehouse, as well as work on some other areas within the town. So thank you, Commissioner Brooks. Thank you, Denise Hamler, and thank you to everyone who was involved in the writing of the award.
And I just want to say thank you, especially because what people need to understand is while he's a commissioner, you know, that's not his job. And Denise Hemler, that's not her job either. But these people have given up their time, and people need to recognize that. They're volunteering their time to be able to do things that are beneficial, continue to be beneficial towards the town. $70,000 is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that was work that needed to be done, but somebody did it. And that's the important thing, you know, and John's working on getting some more grants, you know, through the process, through our staff, you know, as we would like, but, you know, let's make sure that we recognize those people who've given up their time, because that's important. The only way Cottage City has grown to where they're at now is because others before us gave up their time, and we will need to continue that as we move forward. I yield back.
Just real quick off that, though, we also need the town's, you know, residents' input. We need all of your guys' input, because realistically, we did get more money than we expected. Even though we put in for a lot, we didn't think we'd get that much. So, yeah. Well, no, I mean, but if you see trees that need to go down, that's plenty of money. How much did we spend between the two private property? Like $45,000? Just private property, just between the two. 25, and then we spent 20 another time. So, I mean, it's a good amount of money. Everybody, you know, if you see trees that need taken care of, but we also want training and tools. That's one of the things we put in so that we as a community can start tackling these issues. If you have the right tools, it takes, you know, minutes to cut out all the vines in a tree. So, thank you so much.
I have a comment on just saying it. We have one comment on Zoom. It's from Lucy Proctor. It says, split the difference and get 10. So there you go. For the trash cans. For the trash cans.
Oh,
Split the difference and get 10.
We're getting 11.
We're getting 11.
Ain't no split. So we'll have a 12.
There you go.
Canopy to do,
All right, thank you, everyone. We're going to continue with our agenda tonight. Next up is remarks on the fiscal year 2026 budget discussion. Our treasurer, Todd Frankenfield. Todd, are you there? Todd,
He's there.
is he muted?
Let me ask him muting.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I took a minute to get off mute.
Okay, thank you. You have the floor.
Okay. Let me get my materials.
Todd, can you speak a little louder? We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Is that any better?
We'll try to turn the speaker up because we can't hear you in the room.
Okay.
They probably
And
can't
I'll
hear
talk
you
as
on
loud as I
Zoom.
can.
Okay, that's much better, I can tell you that. Can you say something now?
Yep, definitely. Sorry,
Good. That's good. Thank you.
I'm getting my documentation up.
In the meantime, I know I've been working with Todd, Chief, and Tracy. Our next area of the budget is going to be the police department grants and the capital improvement projects. I met with the chief, and the chief and I had spoken, and we're working off of a skinny budget this year. Chief is not planning to do any capital improvement projects. So looking at the items that was provided to me, Chief, you can weigh in. I know you talked about Lexipol, the Explorer program. If you'd like to go ahead and explain your items that you had presented, I think that would be a good opportunity for you to do that.
Well, everything's going to stay.
Let me share screen too, please.
Oh.
You can go ahead.
Okay. This the budget right here? Sorry, I ain't been the budget. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, pretty much everything will stay the same for the police department, except for we're going to remove RVO. RVO, that's $8,000 that is going to be removed from our budget. I'm trying to see if possible. We have a vendor that got bought out by another vendor. That's our Silver Track. Avio.
Is that the stop sign?
Yes. 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 That's going to be zeroed out. We're not going to have to pay for that any longer. That's going to be zeroed out. Yes, ma'am. But we might have to move that money around in my budget because Silver Track was bought out by this other vendor that's more high tech in reference to our patrolling when we actually do our hot spots, and it's going up significantly because this new product does a little bit more than the old product does. It's going to be more expensive, so they got it down to $10,000 for us. So instead of $2,000 a year, it'd be $10,000 a year. So I was going to move the $8,000 over to the $2,000 to actually keep everything the same on my budget. They said that, you know, they brought it down significantly because we're going to try to commit to them or sign a contract for a 3-year period to brought it down. Is that the old software we used to have was having problems with it, and I knew something was wrong, and so I called them up and they said, we bought out. We can't upgrade anything because we got bought out by another vendor. And this new vendor is a little bit more expensive, but it's more high tech, it has more options we can use. We can do a lot of things with it, so.
Because I just need to know that they went there.
Excuse me?
I just need to know that they went to the site. I don't know what else, what's the advantage of the town?
The advantage of the town is pretty much that we can actually send things to them. We can actually, if we call for if somebody call me up, like you call me up at night, I can tell you real quick, you know, if a person's there on site, what's going on. They can tell me what's going on. All the information can actually be uploaded from my desktop to their cell phone. Any updates, information can be sent back to me. So real time, instead of me calling them up, real time, I would have that information by wherever they put it inside their CAD. Another thing is also it uses GPS instead of taking pictures. So instead of them have to stop and take pictures, what happened was it automatically will ping every time they go past a GPS fencing. Say, for instance, instead of saying I went past the towers once, it's going to show several times. Every time that officer go past the towers, it's going to ping it, even if the officer's not taking the picture or put it into the system. It automatically will update that it went past there. If they go down Cottage Terrace, go down Shepherd Street, even if they go for a call, it would count that as they went on that street. So instead of them have to go to their phone, log it in manually and take a picture, it automatically does it by GPS. So wherever they go past something, it's going to automatically count that as them went through there. So it'll be more accurate on how many times they go past a spot and show the visibility a little bit better. But like I said, it's the point where the money I have in my budget, I'm not trying to increase it at all. Matter of fact, it's been decreased a lot with some of the things we brought down. So I'm going with a skinny budget this year because I'm not asking for any capital outlay this year. So pretty much my budget will be a little bit cheaper than it was the last couple of years.
Okay, I have a question. So the thing you just talked about, with the GPS, is that replacing something else that you're already using?
Silver Track.
And what does silver, is that the thing where they gotta go and,
Right.
scan it?
Scan. So you don't have to scan no more. GPS, wherever you go, it hits, it pings. It's going to tell you that you went past there. So instead of going through there once or twice and have to stop and do all that stuff to take a picture, it's going to show automatically once you go past there. It's going to bing it.
You mean once they drive past it?
Drive past it. And then also what happens is it tells you how long they stay there. Also, they can actually upload anything they want to upload. Like if you see like trash, debris, they can take pictures of the trash debris and update it. If I give notes, like I said, well, we had cars broken in over on 37th. I could put that in the notes. And so every time they go to that area, the notes will pop up and say, please check this for this. Or go talk to Miss So-and-so at such address and ask about this. I can put notes in so when they go past that place, it would tell them stop by, talk to so-and-so. I can put all that stuff in. It's a little bit more robust than the other system we had.
And it'll be installed in the cars?
On their cell phones.
On their cell phones?
Yes, ma'am. Just like the Silver Track is.
Okay, so.
And we still gonna have our GPS in our cars, so that's still gonna be there. This just added for showing the patrolling area in reference to where they go.
But they have to be in the area for it to work?
Yes, it's geofenced. Yes.
Okay, so they can't just do it from home or something like that?
No.
All right. Any, Ward 1, you have any questions?
Two questions. First, on the taxes, what kind of, are we talking about keeping the rates the same or keeping the amounts the same?
Yes, I'm not changing any amounts on mine.
No, I'm talking about for the whole budget.
She talking about, are you talking about the tax rate? The cost and yield? We're not on that, we're not talking about that tonight. This is the police budget.
Okay, sorry, I thought we were talking about the whole budget.
No, ma'am. Any other questions? In regards to his budget?
Let's see. No, my questions are about other sections, sorry.
And also, give you a heads up, also the revenue should be adjusted a little bit for this year. We did get some grants for our annual subscriptions that we are working on. John and I, we have a couple more room to actually probably suck in some expenses for next year. So I asked for a certain amount of money for Lexipool, and we're not going to meet that criteria this year. So we don't have some money left over that we want to call Lexipool and see if they can actually bill us a little bit from next year now. So we pay for half that for next year. So it's going to give us some more room in my budget as well. And hopefully we can get that done before we approve the budget, so you know the savings before we set the budget in for this year. We're going to work on that probably this week or next week. And also the speed cameras are going live on 38th Avenue, so we should be able to generate some money this year for that, as well as on Lanesburg Road, we're putting the 2 red light cameras back up. They should be live by the end of April or beginning of May. So that should help us out to for another 3 or 4 months of revenue to help us out for this year. No, they don't. Because what happened was the red light camera you change the vendors. You don't have to go through that process again. We just got to sign the contract with that. I think we're going to talk about that tonight. The speed cameras, the MOU has to be done with that too. But other than that, everything is ready to go. They only had to give a 15-day period for the 38th because we already have a speed camera program here. So it's 15 days a warning period, which they're doing now. After the warning period is over, then it goes live.
Okay. All right, so we probably need to send something out on constant contact about those cameras and the 15-day warning period and the actual effective date.
Right, and we definitely let them know the red light cameras coming back on.
Yeah. Commissioner Henderson?
No comment.
No comments? Okay. So, I'm looking at this, and for some reason, there's several things highlighted. Lexipool, Police Explorer Program, Silver Track. Is this Avion, tasers?
Yeah.
And the Lifter System and Avio. So is there any reason why all of these are highlighted?
The reason I was like that is because with Exxon has everything all in one. It has our taser, our body-worn camera. So they build it separately, but they have it all in the same line item. So what I did was I looked at what we paid for the last couple of years, plus the increases that they normally do once a year, and I rounded up. So I rounded up a little bit so we won't go over anymore. Sometimes I put it for like 3,200, and then at the end of the year we get billed for 3,400 because they added annual up or increase. So what I did was I went in here, rounded up a little bit, so we don't have that problem of going over on that line item. So those are changes that I recommended, which is no major changes. It's still one where I rounded up a little bit.
Okay, but you said the taser are gonna be zeroed out.
No, Avio is being zeroed out.
Avio, which one? Oh, Avio.
Yes.
So that's 5543 then.
The 5543 to be zeroed out. I'm moving that money toward the new patrol program, which is Silver Track.
So Avio, right now, we budgeted 8,500.
And we're not using that this year, so that's going back into the general fund.
So it's gonna go back into the general, for this current fiscal year.
That's correct.
And you're not proposing anything for next year for Avio?
No, we won't have to pay every year.
That's Drew's company?
That's correct. And he did that because we got him in the state of Maryland, and because he got business in there, he said that, he's fine.
Okay, because I think when we agreed to the trailer thing that he put in, we were gonna have to pay for that, right? That first trailer? The one that...
The first one right here?
Yeah, that
yes.
one over there.
But he didn't charge us, and he's not gonna charge us.
So he's not charging us now for that one? Okay, because that was several $1,000s.
Yep.
Can't remember, something
Okay.
to do with the computers.
All right. Well, that's good.
So that 8,000 is going back into the general fund this year.
Okay. But is that thing ever gonna work? Is it
Yes,
is it
he's
work?
gonna put a new camera system they have. He'll put a new camera system in, and he'll change out the solar panel, the solar thing. Because what happened is, because the tree line over there, it's not good enough sunlight to charge that camera. The camera he has now uses less energy, so the solar panel he's gonna put in is gonna actually work there, and so he's gonna put that in probably within the month. We'll have that in.
Is it a charge for that one?
No.
No, no charge?
No.
So that one's gonna get replaced?
Yes.
Okay, and that'll be within the next month?
He said by the end of next month, yes.
Okay. All right. And will it have, it'll still send the data?
Yes, he was collecting data. He's going to still collect the data. But if we ever get to the point where it passed the new bill this year, hopefully if it passed by October, we could probably start, activating that one in the two other spots. where the
Okay.
bus stops are.
Okay. Well, when you get that information, can you share that with us, please?
Yes. I think they had the hearing last week. Senator Augustine presented last week, and they're supposed to have another discussion, I think, in 2 weeks to actually go on it. But he believes he has enough votes.
Okay, but I'm saying the data from the camera that you get from Drew, can you share that information?
yes.
Yeah. Because that would help us, I guess, in regards to those stop sign cameras, if we ever get them. I don't have any other questions in regards to
But
the
he
police
he
budget.
still has the data for the four-way stop.
Oh, he did?
He did. Remember, he put the portable down there. So he already has the data for the four-way stop on that side. I just got to give him data for the three stop sign.
Yeah, but I don't think he was getting any data from the one that wasn't working.
He has it before.
Okay.
He has data for that spot and also four-way spot by the
Okay.
top lot. He has
Okay.
that data already. The only data he has to pull up now is the one on 37th place, the three-way stop.
Okay. For Commissioner Givens.
So, I see the advantages and the disadvantages of the new system. I don't particularly think we'll need all of that, you know, so to be honest with you, I'd like to explore something, another company, because $10,000 is a lot of money. I mean, I understand there's savings other places and stuff like that, but, you know, every little bit counts. But, you know, if the commission, you know, wants to continue to go forward with that, then, you know, then it is what it is, and, you know, I can suck it up, but that's $10,000 a year. Next year, it's gonna be $10,000. So I don't think that the service for what we're looking to do justifies $10,000. I mean, and so I do like the fact that, I do like the fact that it's GPS oriented. I don't like the fact that you can just drive by it. The problem is, one of the things when you came with the Silver Track program to us as a complaint from the commission that the police weren't getting seen. So you came and he says, okay, I got the Silver Track program. So I'm gonna have, so what they're gonna do is we're gonna put these stickers and then they're gonna have to do it with their phone. Which means they're gonna, he said they're gonna get out of the cars and then they did that for a while. Then they stopped getting out of the cars. And then they, you know, and they started doing it from inside their cars. And you know what, I'm not saying or making any allegations, but it doesn't appear, it defeats the whole purpose. The whole purpose of like putting it there is, you know, it was an opportunity for not just seeing the car, but seeing the officer, getting out of the vehicle. I mean, one of the things we've always kind of been trying to promote, and I hope that we do it this year because we haven't been doing it, and we've said we're gonna do it, it just hadn't happened, is this heighten, I've seen a couple of officers do it, so I won't say everybody, but we need to heighten the opportunities to be outside the vehicle, whether that's on a bicycle, whether that's on a trike, whether that's walking down the street. But if you're just driving by, I get it, but I like you getting out the car, and at least I could say, you know, when it was on the pole and they were going up and scanning it, that they had to get out of the car in order to accomplish that task. Now, you know, well, and they haven't been doing that lately. They do it on a piece of paper now, which I don't agree with. You know, so this just gives them more opportunity not to get out of the car. Personally, I want the officers out of the vehicle. I want the officers to be seen. This is about being preventative, being proactive as opposed to reactive. One of the things you guys have done, really, you know, even with the short manpower, I think, to be honest with you, I think it's because you guys have created an image over the past that you've been seen, and even with our current situation, we've still been able to tamp down because those criminals kind of have seen them in the past and said, oh, you know, they must be hiding now, right? So, which is good. It's a good reputation to have. But again, I think it speaks volumes when the residents see the officers outside the car. So, and so I yield back. Thank you.
At large, Commissioner Brooks.
No comments at this time, thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Chief. We will take your request into consideration.
Can I be excused if you don't need me any longer, please?
Do you have, Yes, you can, but I want to ask you one quick question. Earlier, when you first started out with the public safety report, you talked about the auto thefts. Is it the same guy, or is it somebody new, or do you know? Just- if you could just give me an update on that. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Talk about grants.
Okay.
Yes. Todd, do you want to weigh in anything about the police budget? Anything you want to say?
No, I think the chief covered it all. Everything's pretty much very similar to last year. A couple of changes with the subscription that he talked about. And that's all I would call it.
Okay. So let's talk about grants. I did speak with Tracy. Just to make the commission aware, she has stated that there's no new grants for fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 25. And we will receive from USDA, there will be a total received of $45,700 for a police vehicle. And the grants sort of stand where they are. I do know as of today, as we know, we got the $70,000 from Chesapeake Bay, so that will be something new. And I'm going to be speaking about something else that I've asked Tracy to look into, which is getting a grant through the state to demolish the house next door so we can get started on the project next door. And there will be some other items that I think we need to look into, especially looking into the hoop things that we want to acquire. So there are some great opportunities that we do need to be looking into to make sure that we're getting that done. But from what I got from her, the grants sort of stand where they are. Is that correct, Todd?
Yeah, that's accurate. And the other thing is there's going to be some ARPA money left over. So we'll reconcile that once we get through the end of this fiscal year and address what's left for the relief programs.
How much is, you said we're gonna have money left over in ARPA, is that what you said?
Correct.
How much?
My estimate when we did obligations was about 120, but that was the middle of this fiscal year. So we've got to finish out the current fiscal year, see what we spend, see what's left, and then put it in next year's budget.
Okay.
We have enough to cover Tracy's salary and fringe for next year's budget, so that's in there right now. But like we didn't address the food bank or the family relief program or the trees, just depending on how the rest of this year goes.
Okay. I had a question. I just lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Commissioner Young, I lost my train of thought.
Have we, since you mentioned the house back here, have we heard what the outcome of the issue of the lawsuit asking us for more money on?
You can't talk about that you can't talk about it in the open session. It's litigation. Okay. Yeah. You actually sent us the update, didn't you? Didn't you email all of us? He emailed us about a week ago, but he can follow up with you.
The last thing I heard, I still wasn't clear of exactly the outcome was.
I will go ahead and update the commission again if need be.
I do. When you said that, it brought back what my question was. So, you made a comment about you have Tracy, the grant manager, looking for a grant to demolish the house next door. We still have not, to my knowledge, made a decision on what we're doing with that property. So for me, having her to look for a grant and we haven't made a decision yet, I feel like you're putting the cart before the horse, or whatever the saying is. We still need to figure out what we're doing. We still need to hear from the residents. We made a promise to the residents that we were going to get their input, and we haven't done that yet.
I'm going to be speaking about that later on this evening during the meeting. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're not jumping ahead of ourselves. I see you shaking your head, Commissioner.
We did make a decision. You don't remember, the decision was made. If you pull back the documents, they're in there.
To do.
We'll talk about it. I'll get my turn to talk now.
Okay. But I still thought we were going to hear from the residents.
We are. That's separate.
Okay. Is that it for the budget? Or is
No,
it?
we have one more item. Oh, go ahead.
So one of the things, what we have done in the past is we do anticipation on grants to be, that we receive. And then there's a balance on the revenue side as well as the expenditure side.
Of course.
So we identify the grants in which we would like to go after, right? So, and that would show up on the budget. That way, if you achieve those, then you wouldn't have to necessarily make a budget amendment. I.e., so right now, I think that, and again, and I'll go ahead and speak to it, the commission did make a decision, and with the previous commission, as to make that a community center. What we did is we had an open discussion as to what would that encompass inside the community center, what type of, what's it? It was a whole room full of people. I mean, and so what we did say is we were going to continue this conversation in regards to the community center to get further conversations as to what activities and how it would be, how the layouts and so on and so forth would be. That's why we wind up going and doing renderings and stuff like that, because we talked about the renderings even before getting that feasibility study. And it was identified when we purchased the property. This is because we couldn't go and ask for the property and didn't know what we were going to do with it. Citizens would have had our necks up in here. So what I'm telling you for a fact, and this is a fact, and if anybody remembers that was here, I know you were here, that we had said that it was going to be for a community center. That could change if we had, but we would have to bring that back to the community. But the people that were here, they anticipated that being a community center. And if you're going to change that, then you need to have that conversation and say, well, we decided we're going to make it into a bowling alley or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But right now, it's a community center identified, and what's going inside it and that type of activities and stuff like that is for further discussion. And I think we should begin those discussions, to keep people updated. But yes, we should go and continue the process, because one of the things we were talking about doing is it's a process. It's a 3 to 5 year build out to be able to achieve this process. It's not something that we're gonna, inflate the residents' taxes in order to do. And that's why we're gonna do it through grants and bond bills and cooperation through what do you call it? What do you call those nonprofit people? Was it 501c3 organizations to create the programs? So.
Okay, it's coming back to me, but I didn't attend that meeting. I do remember you guys talking about it, but I wasn't present for that one.
And so the only other thing I just want to say is we identify all the grants that she should be looking into. And I know that one of the things that we've been talking about, again, for at least a year and a half, is them stop sign grants. And you and I have had a discussion and got a little bit more information, but that definitely should be up on the what's the name, because that's an opportunity. And I understand they're quite the dollar. but I don't know what other grants where we had kind of identified that we need to kind of continue to go after.
Well, we were
because we
talking
can't just say
about-
nothing.
Yeah, we were talking about doing some, well, you're gonna get to
Oh, you're
that
that's a
situation.
different-
That's a different situation.
Okay.
He's gonna talk about that. But yeah, we did talk about doing some other grants. For the life of me, I can't think of them right now, though. Commissioner not Henderson, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Brooks and thinking Henderson. Commissioner Brooks at large.
No comments, thank you.
Is that the end of the?
We do have our
Can't hear you.
So we have the 70,000 that we just received regarding the trees. There's a lot of things happening. So those are things that we're going to be identifying. And then also I'm incorporating, I think, some of your items that we had spoken about, rapport regarding your vision, facade improvement, maybe something to that effect. try to work some of that into this. So this is, as we know, is a working document, and I'll be working to figure out some items, and we can get those into this budget. Todd, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
Is the capital outlay just for the police department, or is it for any department?
It should be for anywhere. It should be
Oh, okay. Okay, so
It should be for the town.
So capital outlay, and I've sent everyone here, and did she print that thing out for me today?
I don't think she.
Okay.
I think she might have. It might be.
I'll check your box. I'll check my box. But one of the things for the capital outlay, I would like the commission to consider that video I sent you all. It's a pull behind street sweeper. What we have, and I'm here to tell you, until you've done this street cleanup, it's very difficult to do, even with 2 people. It's very laborious. I'm exhausted now. The street sweeper is an opportunity to be effective and efficient. We continue to put up the signs. We do it once a month. We go through and we drive the street sweeper down the street, and it pulls up all the debris. And it's called, and if anyone's in the audience and they'd like to look it up, if you can look it up, it's only one place going to come up. It's on YouTube, and it's called the Victory Sweeper T600. It's a pull behind. It's $20,000. But let me tell you, we have some opportunities to be able to recoup some of that. That if others would like to participate, if the commission would like to do it, we could consider loaning that machine out to other towns, i.e. small towns like ours, to perhaps Edmondson, perhaps Comar Manor, and something to the effect of like for 3 days, because they got to clean their streets too. A new street sweeper, the drive-in is $400,000. We're not going to do that. And a company to come in here to street sweep the whole town will probably be $3,000 each time. So if we were to just say rent it out to other towns of our size, let's say Comar Manor, and we say, hey, for 3 days you can have it for $500 for 3 days. Well, in a year's time, that's $6,000. So you help towards making the payment for it. I just think it's beneficial even without that, but I'm just saying there's opportunities. The commission might say, well, they don't want to share it with anybody, and that's fine too. But ultimately, we have a responsibility to keep the town clean. And you don't have the staff you used to have. You ain't got 3 people. You got, basically 1. And Joe will help where he can, but you can't, that's not a sustainable platform. So I would like the commission to budget that $20,000. I like a decision up and down on that. In regards to that, I would also, and it's not capital outlay, but it is a project as far as the outside trash shed. Trash shed is a mess. You all have seen it. The last estimate they got was how much? No, that was what I gave you guys, an estimate of like $3,000, $3,500. I think it was like $7,000. I said, no, it was close, but it wasn't with the addition. So I would like the commission, and I'm going to give you guys some drawings. The trash shed, where we put the trash shed, it needs to be built out a little bit longer, more trash, because it's a mess inside there, and it needs to be redone. I can make it nice and still do it. Even without the plastic, I could do it a little bit cheaper with the wood. I can make it nice. I would just use a thicker wood. I wouldn't use that fencing that they use. I would use more so like planks that you see on a deck, right? It costs a little bit more, but it's going to last forever, So and I would just say that if you budgeted $5,000, I won't spend $5,000. But if you budgeted me $5,000, I know that I can get the project done within that. You're not going to get a contractor to come in here and do that for anywhere near that price, as nice as I would make it. And also, of course, that project wouldn't start until July or August, or maybe even September. Once we got a new person on board, acclimated, and kind of got their routine down, then we can begin to look at special projects. But we need to have the money budgeted for that. So, and the only other thing, and I know I'm going to get some pushback on this one from my man John Brooks over here, is well, everything costs money, John. Ain't nothing free. I like it to be free, but this all costs money. The only other thing that I have to ask for is the consideration, not for a new one, but a good used 4x4 ATV small one. And the reason why is because we're in a situation where we're putting out opportunities for volunteers to come out and clean people's elderly and disabled people's sidewalks and driveways. And so here's an opportunity to put to get a plow on one, and you can get a used one, a good used one for under $3,000, and then, some of them come with the plow, and even if you didn't have the plow, you can get them for about $500 for the small plow. That will go through and do the sidewalks, like just push all the snow without having to do all that, and you could run through them like this. Because at some point, okay, let me just finish. And I'll send you all the video of how it's done too. At some point, you may not have the volunteers, right, to do the work, but you've committed to these people, that you are going to do these elderly people, and they depend on that. You know what I'm saying? So here's an opportunity for, to have, even if you only have one or a volunteer or maybe two, then you can get these things done. I can't do the snow thing like that, continue to do that, because I have a bad back. So I would like the commission to consider that. And again, I'll send you all the video, and I'll send you more information in regards to that. You had a question?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand what you're requesting. So did you say a AVT or ATV?
ATV. It's all terrain. You've seen them. They go hunting. When those guys go hunting and they put they throw the deer on the back of it. It's a four-wheeler. Right? It's not the kind that you see those guys doing popping willies. You can't pop a willie on these.
Yeah, but you're talking about the thing that you ride on. It's almost like it's not a motorcycle, but
it's a four-wheel,
it has the big four
right,
wheels.
But it doesn't
on
go
it.
fast. And the other thing with that too, the other opportunity to utilize that, not just for that, because I know, like John has stipulated, it don't snow that much, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, right? But we still buy snow plows and stuff like that, even when it doesn't. But we can also use it to pull the street sweeper, because here's the problem. We're talking about decommissioning the silver truck, the small silver truck. That's going to be out of the fleet. The big truck, you can't pull anything with the big truck. It don't got a hitch on it. No, it doesn't have a hitch on it because of the gate. It's a state body, and so the only you could pull it with is the Blazer. You could pull it with the Blazer if it has a hitch on it. I think it does, right? You could pull it with the long pickup truck, right, that we have. But you know how long that pickup truck is, and you're putting another, what's the name, on the back of there. I got to think about safety. I got to think about these guys out there being responsible, and turning corners. I'm in the truck, assisting Perez drive, but I'm also telling him how to drive it, right? Even with the leaf blower in the back. So here's an opportunity. You could use that as well. And so we could have some, not just those one or two things, but I could think of some other things that we could possibly use it for. But I'm not asking for a new one. I'm just saying give me a used one, because I'm not using it all the time. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, you mentioned something about blowing the sidewalks. What was that? I didn't understand.
I'm gonna send you a video. Let me send you a video. And what it is it's on the ATV. It's like a truck plow. So a sidewalk is only so many inches, right? Well, an ATV over a Kabuto, a big old thing like this, it's smaller. So it's got a blade on it, like a small blade. It's probably only like this big, right? Like an ATV, and it attaches to the ATV, and it'll push all the snow to the side, on the sidewalks and stuff like that. So you could do, and it's like, we don't got a bunch of people. We got one person, and we got to try to be efficient with the people that we have. And so, and I agree with John, decommissioning some of this stuff will give us an opportunity to pay for, not everything, of course, but, start to we wasted our money just keeping it here. And the only other thing is the salt spreader. So replacing the salt spreader, getting rid of the salt spreader that we have. The good thing about it is that the salt spreader does work now. It's not working at its finest because you can only turn it up halfway, but it works, right? This is the time to get rid of it while it's still working. You know what I'm saying? And sell it off. And if what we can get back, we can put towards a new salt spreader. I wouldn't consider the same type because they're a lot more expensive. I would consider a Salt Dog, which is $5,500 as opposed to $7,500. And so, yeah, that was
Okay, so you're requesting that we purchase a used AVT?
ATV.
I don't know why I keep wanting to call it something
3,000
else.
for the ATV.
3,000 for the used ATV.
With the plow? What'd you say?
Isn't that what you said?
I said some of them come with the plow, not all of them. Some of them come with the plow.
And
But
it-
if it didn't, the plows are new. They're 500 from
And then
Tractor Supply.
you're requesting a blower to be attached to it?
No,
No. Okay, see,
No, no.
that's where I'm confused.
no, no. Did I
What's
say
that?
blower?
Well, whatever.
I
You said
apologize.
some blade thing that can
Oh no,
blow
a snow plow attached to it. Yeah.
You said something with attached to it.
Yeah, it's a snow plow.
Or a plow,
The
not
plow.
blower, plow.
Yeah, not a blower. Sorry.
And then how much is that?
Well, the plow, if you can't get the ones with, because you can buy them. Sometimes people sell them used with the plow. A lot of them out of Pennsylvania and stuff like that, and high parts of Maryland, because that's what they do on their farms and stuff like that. A new one from Tractor Supply, $500, brand new. So they don't cost that much. But not everybody may have one on their ATV, because some of these guys use them for hunting. They don't go very fast, but they have more torque. That's why, they're bigger, they're fatter. The wheels are fatter because that's what they use them for, in the mud and stuff like that.
So I'm sorry, my allergies are bothering me. Ward 1, Commissioner Young. Ward 2, Commissioner Henderson.
Well, I definitely know we do need the, what was the soft, the spreader. I know we need that before, so I'll agree with that 100%, and get rid of the old one and try to get as much as you can off of it. Because right now, even when we put it in the shop, we lost money on that. But that's definitely, and it's good to look into the ATV. I never thought about it, but sounds like a good idea.
What about the street sweeper?
Oh, street sweeper, definitely. I mean, because I saw how hard you were out there working, cleaning the streets. Did you check on that for used too?
You can't buy it. So that was the thing. And looking at the 3-bid situation, they don't. So this product is made in China, and for the last probably 20 years, the only person who distributes is this one company, Victory Street Sweepers, out of Alabama. That's why it has to be imported up here. I've yet to find anything that was comparable and pull behind, because street sweepers, they buy what's the names, right? A lot of these are used for construction sites and stuff like that. Take a look at the video. I'll send it to you again, and those developments. But it's not very popular. Because I asked him, I said, why don't you come to the MML and what's that? He says, we don't have time for that. He said, y'all got budgets and y'all got to wait. And so he said, we go to a construction company. It makes sense. Where do I sign? So for them, it's like, they don't even go after municipalities, and that's why a lot of times we never see them in municipalities, right? Because they're not like the target. I went and sought out something that could, without having to spend, a couple of $100,000 to $400,000. And I'm talking about even a used street sweeper, as much as I've seen, it's like 45 grand. And I'm talking about a drivable one. And you don't want to use one, trust me when I tell you, it's just, you're just buying a problem. Because that's something you're going to use more frequently. And then what about the trash thing, the trash compactor, trash shed, trash room? Okay.
I agree with the shed.
Okay.
But at first, I remember you only had one quote on.
Well, yeah. At this point, I just think that we can do it for a lot cheaper, and it's just going to
That's a good
require,
idea.
and I can make it look nicer, like we did at the. I'm going to give you a couple of different designs, that I think you guys will really like, because what we want to do is make our town look nice, right? We don't want this raggedy, looking thing, and it kind of we're back to square one again, down the line. You finished writing over there, John?
At large, Commissioner Brooks.
Now, look, we got to adjust with the times with the equipment, but it's looking a little little raggedy up here with all this equipment. We got to get rid of some stuff, and we should start with that. Like I understand the trash bin, that looks like trash itself. So I agree with getting, replacing it. But ATV, I think we can wait on a little bit. Try to sell some stuff. Try to come up with some funding. That's not a big budget item. I think that's something I would ask. With the plow, do you also, because you're probably not going to find an ATV with the plow on it.
No, I've seen a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you get one without, do you then have to buy all the connections and the mounts?
The connections, no, it mounts to what you have.
Okay.
It's a, what's it now? And that's a Tractor Supply, brand new for 500. I've seen used ones on, what's the name, for $100, for a used plow for $100, but,
So street cleaner, could that also be used for leaves or?
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And if you
So
watch
we
the
could
video.
probably sell the leaf.
No, here's the thing.
See,
Well,
that's
no,
where
but
you're
here you
getting.
gotta listen. I'm gonna tell you about that. I wouldn't sell that right now because we don't know. Well, for one, it's not for huge piles of leaves. It's for like leaves in the street. It'll pull that up. But if you got a pile of leaves, how are you gonna get those up? And so what happens is while we're looking at outsourcing, right? We're looking at outsourcing the leaves, which I still am committed to. However, we don't have the pricing structure on that. And what if that doesn't work out? What if we decide, hey, you know what? We brought on, and ultimately at the end of the day, we realized all of this was well and good, but we're gonna need another person and, and we're gonna go back to doing our own leaves. If you sold your leaf machine, then now what are you gonna do? You gonna go buy another one? Or you always got to stick with the vendor. So you gotta wait until see how the thing pans out. You don't know how it's gonna pan out. So I'm not trying to sell that. I do agree, getting rid of some other stuff though. And we can go down, you can come down there and we can go over whatever it is we got left that we can talk about getting rid of. But
Let's do that then. I want to get a good idea of what, so that we're not just storing more
definitely
and
the
more
truck.
equipment.
I think I think we should definitely decommission the silver 2005 truck. And that's a conversation that we'll have at the meeting. And then, because we have to do on the agenda, and definitely the salt spreader. And I can begin whatever what's the name is, start taking pictures and taking the what's the names off and try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. If we get a good price, let's see what it's valued at, as far as. And
We
then-
need both electric buggies down there.
No, but you got those off a grant. I don't know if you can sell those, Mr. Best. They got those off a
It
grant.
would probably stipulate that you have to keep it for so many years, correct, Mr. Best? How long have we had them?
We've had them for a while. I think Reggie got those, right? Reggie?
All property becomes eventually surplus. Surplus.
He's asking
Mr.
about the
Best,
grant
We
specifically,
got
but
those, we obtained those through grants. The two electric gym buggies. Now, that's the other thing. I can't tow with those. They don't have, they're all aluminum.
that's what I'm
frame.
saying.
Yeah.
Do we need two of them?
No, I don't think you need two of them, but I don't know.
They have
if
a
you tow.
known and reasonable lifespan. I don't believe any grant would say that you have to keep them beyond.
Will you ask Mr. Best to speak into the mic?
He said that they have a usable lifespan, and he doesn't think that any particular property is committed to be here forever, right? Pretty much.
So let's look at it.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think you
Most
should keep
grants will
one, though. I
stipulate-
think you should still keep one.
That's
I don't
fine.
have a problem getting rid of
But
the other one.
I'm
if the
just
commission-
seeing two back to back down there.
No, I agree with that. I'm not opposed to that.
And if we have to update to get newer, or to get equipment that meets our modern needs, then
Okay.
fine, but let's take an honest look at.
Okay.
So it's not looking like a graveyard of vehicles up here that we're
Okay.
just storing around. That's it for me, thank you.
All right.
It's not as bad as you thought.
Well, you're rough. You're a tough cookie
Oh,
to crack.
please.
I gotta convince you. I'm done. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, next, Mr. Holson.
Chair Wheatley, can I jump in real quick for a second?
Sure.
Just want to capture the consensus of the room on that item. So it was street sweeper in the budget along with a salt spreader for a total of 25 grand.
It would be $25,500. The reason why, because the salt spreader was $5,500. Yeah,
Okay.
it's $5,500, and then the street sweeper was 20 grand. It was like 19 and some change. It's on the invoice they sent, the quote that they sent. And
Okay.
and also the trash room is 5,000.
Okay, let's
And-
talk about that real quick. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I think we budgeted this year for it, didn't we? Is it in there?
I'm not certain because I think we had the soffit and the gutters.
No, we didn't do the
current
soffit
year.
and the gutters. That's different. And we don't have
Okay.
to pass that for next year too, if we're going to continue to do that. And I think we should.
All right, well, let's talk about that for a minute. So the number the TA gave me was $45,000 for town hall improvements. John, can you talk that through with the group? Because I think that $5,000 for the trash bin needs to go on top of it, just so we have itemized projects.
The money that I know that they had spoken about before was about doing improvements to the bathrooms, working on, that we have to get the floor replaced here. We gotta work on the floor. That was part of that. But the main thing, I think, and I think also included in that, I think, was the trash, if I'm not mistaken. I think we put that in there with the trash, because we knew we wanted to do the trash. So that would have all been encompassed in that amount of money.
Is that for this year or for next year?
That would be next year, right, Todd?
Correct.
Right, that is for next year.
Okay, so then we're good if the 45 includes the 5 for the trash bin, correct, fixes. Okay, now, Commissioner Givens, it doesn't include the gutters and the soffit if we want to roll that project
We
over.
can add that too.
No, that should have been on a different line item that's already in this year's budget. I know that was already in this year's budget. We didn't get a chance to do it because of the staffing situation. Because what we were going to do is John and I were going to pull off the gutters. We're going to have a company and pull off the soffits, and we're going to change the soffits along with Public Works help, and then we're going to have a company come in and put the new gutters up, because they do all of the road gutters and they're all connected and all that, and so that should have been budgeted in this year's budget. Now we're not going to be able to get there without any staff right now, so we're going to have to potentially roll that over. Do you see that in the budget, Todd?
Can you give
Yeah.
us a line item number so we can follow you? Because I don't know where we're at in this budget.
Oh, sorry.
I just hear people throwing out
6507.
numbers. What's the
60
line item?
6507. 6507.
6507. Okay. Okay, Public Works, new equipment.
No, that's 6507.
Oh, that was.
6607's for the street sweeper and the salt spreader. So
Okay, so
25.
town hall improvements,
Correct.
6507, that's where we're talking about
Yeah.
right now?
Yep. So there's 26 grand in the current year's budget. Doesn't sound like the project's going to get done. My question is, does that all roll over to next year? And do we need to, take our 45 and make it a larger number is the question.
That 45 is from ARPA, right?
45 is not from ARPA.
It's not?
It was the replacement
It's-
for ARPA. Remember, we put something else in place, and
So we
no,
use the ARPA money to pay the Bates contract, so this is the money that we're
Right.
gonna be saving from the Bates contract?
Right.
Is that what it is, Todd?
I wasn't part of that conversation. To my knowledge, it was always general fund money.
so what they do with the ARPA money?
ARPA did pay a Bates add-on contract
That's what we're
in
talking
the
about.
current
No,
year
the town hall
budget.
improvements was in the ARPA.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, I
Yeah, the
think it
town
was,
hall
yeah.
improvements was definitely ARPA money.
Yeah.
Because we went back and forth about it.
Right, because it was 40,000.
Yeah, you're right.
on the Bates
You're
contract.
right. You're right.
We went back and forth about that.
Because we talk about the floor, yeah.
Because we said floors,
Right.
we said doors, because that's when the chief was asking for the new furniture for his office. And then we talked about doing some work around the town hall. That was never coming, it wasn't coming out of general fund because we had that extra money. And we had to obligate it before the end of last year. And we said we were gonna do town hall improvements. Am I the only one that remembers that?
For the, so, no, this was appropriated at the beginning of the year in last year's budget conversations under general funding. On the ARPA document, there was conversations about that, but I don't think it landed in the obligation document. So I want to find that and pull it up.
It should have been, because we voted on that.
Yeah, so can we come back around to it as far as, because we still got time.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that it's clear.
No, I agree, but you can have a conversation to make sure we get it back on, and then we can, for the sake of time,
So, where is the 25,000 that you're asking? Where is that gonna come? Which line item is it coming out of?
Me?
Yeah, what you're asking for?
You gotta put it in there. And there's, are you talking about the 25,000 for the,
Yeah.
25,500? You gotta put it in there, you gotta.
But where is it gonna fall? Which,
Oh, it's in capital outlay. Right.
so that's gonna be 6505. No, that's capital equipment.
Equipment outlay, same thing.
I don't know, this, can you see that?
Yeah, capital outlets are here. This is all the different.
So capital, what's the number? Can you tell me?
Yeah, 6,500.
6,500.
And it says capital equipment 6505.
And 6501 is general government capital outlays, then 6505 is capital equipment, 6507 is town hall improvements.
And so it looks like we didn't, what capital equipment did we anticipate buying for this year? I don't know what that would have been. Was that the,
I don't know.
the plow that, that folks, got at 7,500?
How much is it? Can you see?
Which one?
Because it says that we haven't spent any of it, right, Todd?
I can see.
2,700 we spent of the 75.
No, I'm talking about in 6505, capital equipment.
Capital equipment's 11,000.
Oh, 6505, no, we haven't spent anything. I thought that was the HVAC unit, was my memory.
Oh, it does have a different, oh, that might be, because there is a different one for Public Works. Okay, so Public Works is 6,600. So Public
Correct.
Work new equipment is 6,607. And it
Correct.
looks like, yeah, they put in,
Can you bring that up on the screen?
Yeah, here, I can share.
Yeah, can someone
yeah,
please
even
share
in-
that?
In Public Works equipment, new equipment, they have 11,000. And we've spent zero.
Okay.
No, didn't we budget for a plow and a salt spreader last year? I'll look at my notes, but I'm just if the group remembers.
Yeah, but didn't we pay for it this year or no? Or did we pay for it through ARPA? We paid for it through ARPA, huh?
I don't think we did. No. I think we said wait till summertime.
For the truck?
So it would have been.
For that white truck, yeah.
Yeah, you bought the plow for the white truck.
Right, it was
I thought we
$7,500.
swapped it. I thought we
I
swapped it.
thought we did the plow, but not the salt spreader.
Yeah, I think we swapped it.
Oh, is that what happened?
I think. Do you
Okay,
remember?
so we haven't used anything on the new equipment.
Correct. Yeah, nickels and dimes down here.
I mean, it's six in hand, one hand, half a dozen another. If you want me to take 5,500 of that 11,000 and pay for the salt spreader now before the new budget, so that you don't have to incorporate that in turning it over, that's fine too, because we haven't used any of it. It's $11,000 that was what's the name for it, set aside for it, and we haven't used any of it.
Yeah.
And then, or you could just add it to, you could just move the money over, to the following years. It goes back in the general budget. Makes me no difference. At the end of the day, as long as we get it.
All right, there's some comments in the chat.
Yeah, and let's finish the ARPA conversation before we move too far. So this was the direction I was given on how to spend ARPA in the obligation conversations. And we talked about it initially, but the final plan that I was shared was for these items.
Okay, we can't see that. You're gonna have
Okay,
to
I'll
read it out.
email it to you. But yeah, that was the final plan, and it didn't contain any of the building rehab.
So perhaps
Okay.
we can table that, and Wanda, you know what we talked about in regards to the ARPA stuff, because, and then you guys can get on the same page, we
That's
can
what
get
we
everybody on the
talked
same page.
about.
Is that what, because I can't see it.
Yeah, we talked about rolling the 46,000.
Yeah, 46,000 was gonna be putting on trash and then using it for the.
Yeah, that was our final conversation.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So we could pay for Bates for next year, some of it.
Which we did.
Okay,
We paid for Bates.
right,
We paid a portion.
right, because, yeah, it's like 102,000, 110,000.
We
Yeah.
settled on the 5,000 for chalk ride, that's all.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
I remember Chalk Riot.
okay.
What's next?
Let's move to the next item. Let me go back to this thing. Is there anything else, Todd, you want to share?
Nope, that was the list of my questions.
Okay.
Oh,
Hang on.
did y'all give me the ATV or not? You know, I kinda need to know that.
I do have a comment in the chat now.
Go ahead.
Josh Durant says the commission shouldn't be purchasing or selling any public works equipment until the new public works staff is hired. It is great that Commissioner Givens has been helping out with public works activities, but that's not sustainable. The commission needs to hire public works staff, and that staff should have input into what in public works equipment is needed.
And so I want to respond to that, Josh, because no one knows. I'm telling you for a fact. I don't care who you hire. Don't nobody know more than I do in regards to what's going on currently. And I agree with John. The silver truck, there's no purpose of it anymore. That's why we bought the white truck, and we were gonna keep it, but at this juncture, we're just paying insurance for something that we likely won't have any utilization for. We have, having new staff won't change that situation because we have plenty of vehicles for them to still operate in, whether that be the electric vehicle. You're not getting rid of both electric vehicles, you're talking about getting rid of one electric vehicle. The salt spreader, it ain't no good. As far as continue to repair that, we got to get rid of that, deadline that, and get a new one on board. So when we move forward, each time we spread the salt, we pay for a contractor to spread the salt, it's $2,500. $2,500. So if it's a snow event, they spread salt before the event, that's $2,500. And then after the event, that's another $2,500. They spread salt. So we pay for the salt spreader. It's a no-brainer, right? So that's not, so I'll sit down with you. You can call me, and I'm happy to have this conversation offline to make, and even take you down there. I have no problem. So but at this juncture, with all that's going on with the what's that, we kind of got to get the best money we can get out of what we have. And like John said, move forward with the technology and looking at, the next 10 years moving forward. Because that is not sustainable what we have now. With all that's going on with the ability to be able to be more efficient. You can't be more efficient in our current situation. It is not a sustainable situation out there with the leaf vac cleaning the streets. That's not a realistic situation. It takes, if one person calls out, it don't get done. If I got set up for every Thursday, for that Thursday, for what's the name, and the person says, oh, I didn't come in. Now, all those people that moved their car on Thursday, it's not sustainable. But if I got a street sweeper, that one person can, John could jump in the truck and say, well, I'll go ahead and knock it out, and drive down the street with the street sweeper on the back and collect the what's the name. So we have to have opportunities to be more sustainable, like you said, in moving forward. No matter who you hire, they got to get trained. They ain't going to come in here knowing everything because they ain't worked at Public Works probably. We're looking at a skilled pseudo handyman type situation. If they worked at Public Works somewhere else and they want to come here to work, you're probably looking at a person that didn't work out where they were at. John?
I would just add, we're budgeting not for right now, we're budgeting for next year. We'll have that person in place, so they will have input. But to say we shouldn't do anything, I don't think that's really the case. We will have that person on sooner than later, and they will have input. We're not budgeting for right this minute, we're budgeting for next year. So they will have input, but thank you.
Next item tonight is the resolution, Town of Cottage City, Resolution 2025-02, a resolution of the Town of Cottage City adopting a new government organizational chart. As you all know, in the last work session, we went ahead and we showed the organizational chart and asked the commission to provide any additional feedback. There was none, and we've now been able to bring this to a vote. And so I will defer to you all for that vote.
Don't you have, yeah, you have to read it into the record, whatever the thing is, the resolution?
You just have to,
Before we do that, can I just ask a question?
Yes.
We didn't go through all parts of the budget. Are we just putting off other parts and questions about the other parts until next meeting?
the budget's been sectioned off. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been discussing it in sections.
Right, but they're
And
not
so-
in order.
No, that's how we've sectioned it off. I will send you the schedule, and you can get the copy of the schedule so you understand how we've sectioned it off.
Okay,
And then
so we're
we've
not
allowed
allowing
public
any
comments
comments
as well.
on any parts of it that are not assigned for a particular night.
No, we've sectioned it off to ask for comments, and then at the end, we'll have a general discussion about the entire budget right before we go forth.
So I think what you're talking about, you're concerned about the tax rate, right?
No, there are a couple questions I had.
What is your question? Because if it's capital outlay, then yeah, that's where we're at. We're talking about
Well,
buying.
my two questions, basically, at this point, were simply, in terms of the taxes, we had talked about whether we were going to keep it at a level or whether we're going to raise it.
Okay, so let me deal with that first. So that question is going to be handled at another meeting, and the reason why.
That's what he just told me, right. I
Okay, so what
understand
was your
that.
second question?
My second question had to do with Cottage City going up, or it's $15,000, which is higher, not than last year, but it's higher than what we've done in the
Cottage
past.
City
And I
Day.
just want to talk a little bit more about Cottage City Day, but if now's not the right time, I can do it at a later point.
Okay.
Is that under the special events?
Special events, correct.
I think we discussed that when we get to the general government.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
under general government.
Okay, so we'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually, that was last meeting, so it's probably something to review, so that we're all on the same page before we go into revenues.
So, go ahead, John, I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's 10 o'clock. Okay, well then, let's put it to the next one, to the next budget hearing, and we'll put it back on the table. Okay?
You want me to read into the record? I did. A resolution of the Town of Cottage City adopting a new government organizational chart, whereas Section 58 of the Town Charter, Authority to Employ Personnel, states that the town may employ such officers and employees as it deems necessary to execute the powers and duties provided by this charter or other state law and to operate the town government. And whereas Section 60 of the Town Charter, Unclassified and Classified Service, states that the civil service of the town shall be divided into unclassified and classified service, and the unclassified service shall comprise the following offices and positions: the commissioner, the clerk treasurer, if any, town manager, and the town attorney, the heads of all offices, departments, and agencies, and members of the town's boards and commissions, part-time, temporary, and unpaid office and positions, part-time, temporary, and unpaid offices and positions, which shall not be included within the merit system. And whereas the commission wishes to reflect the structure of the town set out in the town charter and code, showing the offices, departments, and positions as outlined in the organizational chart attached hereunto as Exhibit A. Now, therefore, be it resolved and ordained that the Cottage City Commission hereby adopts the following organizational chart for the town of Cottage City. And be it further resolved by the Cottage City Commission that this resolution shall be in effect immediately upon its passage and approval. Introduced by the Cottage City Commission at a meeting held on Wednesday, March 12, 2025, passed by the Cottage City Commission at a meeting held on Wednesday, March 12, 2025, and now it's up for vote.
All right, is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-02?
So moved as read.
Is there a
Brooks,
second? The motion was made by Commissioner Givens, seconded by Commissioner Brooks. We will now call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Young, aye.
Ward
Anderson,
2.
aye.
Ward 3, aye.
Ward 4, aye.
At large, aye.
Motion passes. There are no nays or abstentions. Next item.
Next item is the Chalk Riot design approval. As you all know, we spoke about these designs in the last work session, and I have them up on screen this evening as well as in your packet. And I think you all had sort of decided on several. We need to get a consensus tonight and of course have vote taken so that we can talk to Chalk Riot about getting the work done starting in April.
Could you switch screens to the other ones as well? Thank you. I'll say my piece. I think I said it before. I really like the orange one. We're in a train town, but it also incorporates, you know, the kind of the vines off the back of it, not the invasive vines, but yeah, you know, and kids love trains. My daughter loved the caboose down in Bladensburg Waterfront Park. I think it's just a nice touch, so that's my vote.
Let's go with Ward 1. Yes, okay.
I like the red and blue with the stars and stripes. However, I'm going to repeat what I said before, especially after the discussion today about traffic coming through town, that if after hearing everything that, you know, after presenting to the town and listening to town comments, if there's any chance that we would decide to put humps or bumps or whatever, apparently that's a dangerous, could be a dangerous intersection. If we did decide to put any humps there, we'd want to wait until after the humps were up, obviously, to paint it. Now, it may be that everybody is totally against the humps, and if that's the case, then all I'll say is I like the red, white, and stars, or the blue, red, and yellow stars.
Can I say something real quick to that? Even if you put speed humps in, which happened on Cottage Terrace, you can pull them back a little bit. So
Pull
we
what
don't
back?
Like, they don't have to be right at the stop sign. So on Cottage Terrace, go down Cottage Terrace, actually right by.
You're talking about your side of Cottage Terrace?
Yes.
Yeah, if you, like, actually right by Commissioner Gibbons' house. That one, it didn't line up where it could be right there at the stop sign. They pulled it back a little bit. It's still just as effective. People slow down through there, don't they?
But if that's possible, that's fine then.
But I'm saying we don't have to
I just would
pull
hate to
this
see
up.
them covered up. and
No,
then-
it wouldn't get covered up. You would just have to maybe pull it back a little bit right before it, because I'm all for that intersection, but we don't have to delay this to get
You're all
to
for
that.
putting the humps there,
You don't put them right there at the stop sign.
but
You
you're all
can-
for putting them at the general
At that
intersection.
one, in probably later talks, yes, but we don't have to delay this. You just put them back before that.
That's fine if that's possible.
And you can
to
check
do.
it out, right there by Brittany Drakeford's house, Demetrius.
Yeah, no, that's fine if we can do that. I just don't want to preclude that or cause us to have to do this twice, that's all.
Ward 2, Commissioner Henderson.
Yes, I'd go along with the train, because with our discussion the last time, I agree that the train looks a lot better. I agree with that. The one with the orange. What?
The middle one. You're talking about the left one, right?
The one on the, well, now you switched. The one right there to the left. Yeah, orange background.
That's the only one you like?
Preferred.
That's the one you prefer?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I don't really have a preference, but if I have to pick, I like both the trains, either one. Commissioner Givens?
Yeah, I like the train with the orange background. The one, yeah, that one. It's bright, and the whole purpose is supposed to be is for people to see it, right? So I mean, I think that fits perfectly. Thank you.
How many crosswalks are they installing?
I think it's just the one at the top lot.
It's only one? I thought it was more than one.
I think it's just one. That's why it's all the same. It's the top lot, see? It's only one from what I was.
So it's not all four corners?
That's what I thought.
It's just one?
I think it's just one.
So $5,000 for that one?
I think it's. I can double check with her, but I think it's just one.
I hope it lasts. So it sounds like it's that one has the most votes.
Okay.
The one with the leaves.
You guys gonna do it as a motion?
There's a chat, there's a comment.
The comment is from Lucy Proctor. It says, "That's unfortunate if it's only one for 5K."
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know.
Of things, it's not that.
So the comment was from Lucy Proctor, and can you repeat it, because some
Yep.
folks didn't hear it?
Will do. It says, "That's."
What do you think of a legal issue that you have? I know, but you can, because he's talking. Oh, okay.
Lucy Proctor says, "That's unfortunate. It's only one for 5K."
I guess I misunderstood. I thought we were getting more than one crossing. I didn't know it was just one.
I would say, in light of that new discovery, that's not where we would want it per se. And the reason why is most of the traffic comes from right Parkwood. You see what I'm saying?
Which Parkwood? Parkwood Street on in Ward 1 or Ward 2?
But we're trying to prevent that through, but that's not, everybody, cops ain't gonna be here all the time. But if you're gonna put it, I think you put it here. Yes.
Right.
And not here.
That makes more sense.
What street is that? 40?
This is 40th place.
Lindsay's dialed in.
See, the Coleman's house is right here.
Okay.
Lindsay's on.
I heard you.
And so Mr. Best might want to talk about a legal thing that he may or may not have discovered.
I think there's some issues with, crosswalks have to conform.
So talking your mic.
Crosswalks, I think, may need to, on first blush, it didn't strike me as being something to be regulated by MUTCD, the Maryland Uniform Traffic Control Device Manual, because it's not a sign per se, and like speed humps are not regulated by MUTCD. However, when you paint the curb and you expect that to give notice to the public not to park at a red curb or a yellow curb or a white curb or whatever it's regulated to be, you can cite people for violating that painted. I think that there might have to be a white stripe on either side.
Oh, yeah.
That is straight, so it delineates to the public because otherwise you can have issues with, if someone violates and say they hit a child that's crossing in that, then lawyers are going to get involved and there's going to be liability issues and they're going to say, well, that doesn't conform, so why are you trying to hold us liable for that problem? So I think it can be fixed. Now, this company that does this work that you had invited, they're out of DC, I believe. So our law, but the MUTCD applies everywhere. Maryland has a unique MUTCD that's slightly modified, but I wonder if that's something you might want to look at. Might want to look at.
Yeah, but she's saying the company that she works for is out of DC. I would say this, because we're talking about crosswalks, right? How many crosswalks do we have in town? Exactly. We don't have any. Not that are defined.
Down by the Parkwood Court, you do. Just put one on Bunker Hill. Yeah, just down by Parkwood Court.
On Bunker Hill. It goes all the way across? Okay, two lanes? Because that's a crosswalk. You know what I'm saying? Not one, but two. Because you're identified. Because I don't think you have one right here.
Let me, I'm reading from the Maryland SHA Bicycle and Pedestrian Design Guidelines. That's different than the MUTCD, but this is what it says about decorative crosswalk markings. It says some residents request decorative crosswalk markings because they find them to be more aesthetically pleasing than other types of crosswalk markings. In general, high visibility crosswalk markings are strongly preferred over decorative markings because they are easier for motorists to see. In the event that decorative crosswalk markings are used in place of high visibility markings, they should be edged with 12-inch wide reflective white lines. In addition, the decorative surface must be firm, stable, and slip resistant. Vertical displacement shall not exceed 1.4 inches, and the horizontal gaps shall not exceed 1/2 inch. So I think the big thing is the 12-inch wide reflective white strip on either side. So instead of being irregular yellow, it should be a white. You can still do the yellow. You can still mix.
Put the white lines.
Right. Yeah.
And it has to be 12 inches.
Yeah.
And reflective.
Well, that's what it says here.
Well,
That's what
I'm
it says
sure.
in the Maryland SHA Bicycle and Pedestrian Design Guidelines. Yes.
I'm sure they can add those white lines. That shouldn't be that
not a big-
difficult.
Seems trivial.
But now that he's mentioned
Yes.
all of that, what we gotta do is if you look here, we ain't got no crosswalks.
That's right.
All you got is this is the line, this line here is for the stop sign. We need to begin to start identifying the crosswalks.
That is another form of traffic calming. If you put more crosswalks in your town, it causes people to slow down a little bit. You said you had this problem with people cutting through traffic. That might curb it slightly.
Thank you, Mr. Best. I see your hand, Mr. Kopecki, but we also have a comment in the chat from Lindsay. You want to read that?
Lindsay, are you online?
Hi, yes, I I called in to, sorry, I'm hearing feedback. I called in from my phone. I'm not like on the Zoom.
Great. Did you hear what the questions were? Is it for all the areas down there, or is it just one?
It's just one. And I heard the concerns, and we can definitely paint white on the outsides if that is definitely what you want. I think, like someone said, it is legal either way, but we can certainly paint white lines if that's preferred.
Yep, I will read those into the record. Let's see. Lucy Proctor, I understand and appreciate the presentation and time to explain the purpose of the work. However, 5K for temporary art is not a great budget choice. It goes on. It says, Lucy Proctor, how many crosswalks could we have painted on streets for 5K?
One.
Mr. Kopecki, you had your hand raised? Could you please go to the mic so everyone can hear you on Zoom? Thank you.
If you put a 12-inch wide white stripe on either side of the painting, that would change the aesthetics. It would look different.
You ain't got no choice.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Kopecki, but according to our town attorney, it's going to be a requirement for us to do that.
No, we ain't doing that. That's the design we chose. We ain't going through this again. We know what it is now. It's one, what's the name? And we all decided whether it's 1 or 4, that's the design we're going with. So we ain't gonna go rehash this. Whether they straighten them or not, it's gonna be some white lines at 12 inches, like Mr. Best say. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to conform, and we want to consider for the Public Works Department to put on their agenda to begin to mark the other crosswalks throughout the town accordingly to the requirements.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lindsay, for confirming that it's only one crosswalk. I guess I misunderstood. I thought we were getting more than one crosswalk. What's our next agenda item, please?
The next agenda item is the Memorandum of Understanding between the Maryland State Police and the Town of Cottage City regarding the red light camera technology user agency general provisions. This was brought up during the last the work session, and tonight it is before you. This has been vetted through Town Attorney Best, and all it needs tonight is a vote. And then we can get this signed and we can get this back to the agency so we can get the red light cameras up and running.
Can I just ask one more question about the action? Have we already approved that?
Yes, we did.
It's absolutely amazing that we're at like 5 meetings of the same guy, like damn conversation. Like, I get it, but I mean, we've talked about it in like 5 meetings, the same. It's not you. Like the whole conversation is just, we've been at it like 5 meetings now, the same exact thing. But we're still going through the same thing.
No, I think we all understood what we were voting for. We knew the cost. I knew it was $5,000. I don't know, for some reason, I thought we were getting more than one crosswalk. I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Which means that you didn't think that one would cost $5,000.
I knew it was $5,000. I did not know we were only getting one crosswalk. I thought we were getting multiple crosswalks. And I thought we had actually identified some other locations, but again, I must have misunderstood. Well, we already voted on it, so I don't, it's unfortunate, but hey.
I would point out one thing.
Actually, I was gonna ask if we could increase the scholarship, but again, we haven't gotten to that section yet. We're not on that part. When we get there, we'll definitely. All right. The MOU for the red light cameras, I do believe this is a memorandum of understanding, correct?
That is correct. That's right.
Don't you have to read it into the record?
I don't believe we have to read this into the record.
No, it's just, you gotta read.
Yeah.
You said MOU.
I just gave you basically what it is. It's the memorandum between the Maryland State Police and the Town of Cottage City Red Light Camera Technology User Agency General Provisions.
Is there a motion for what you just said?
So moved as read.
Is there a second?
Brooks, second.
All right, Commissioner Givens made the motion and Commissioner Brooks made the second. We'll go around the room, starting with Ward 1. Your vote, please. It should be in your packet. Ward 2.
Ward 2, say, aye.
Ward 3, aye.
Ward 4, aye.
At large, aye.
Ward 1. Do you want to abstain?
I'll go along. I either that or abstain because I don't see it.
Right there.
We're waiting for your vote.
Fine, aye.
Motion passes. There were no nays or abstentions. Next agenda item, please.
The next agenda item is the salt spreader. Commissioner Givens was speaking earlier regarding it, and I'll let him continue.
So the only question in regards to the salt spreader that we have listed here, shown here, is whether you're going to pay. You want us to take it out of this year's budget that still has 11,000 in it, or do you want to move the money, just keep the money, and then just push it to next year's budget? That's the only question.
I have a question. Did we get 3 quotes?
We have 2 that were given.
And I'll get you a third one, but I just want to know, what do you want to? We can vote on it next month if you decide you want to take it out of this year's budget. I'll have you your 3, But I pretty much know where we're going to wind up at, as far as cost.
All right, so what do we?
And that's the lowest cost I've been able to find.
So this says commission vote, so you would like for us to vote on it tonight?
No,
With-
no, I mean,
no?
no, we could do it next month. I was just saying, do you want us to take, I was just asking, do you want us to take it out of this year's budget? Because if you say, nah, let's push it to next year, then it's nothing to talk about. We'll push it next year and we'll vote on it next year. You know what I'm saying? After July and probably September or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Before the salt season starts.
But you're asking us to put it in the upcoming budget, right?
Either that or go ahead and buy it now before July 1st. And we can vote on it next month, but or you could talk about it next month, yeah, You don't have to talk about it now. If you said you want to think about it, that's fine. Think about it. It's not, something we need now, today. Okay?
Okay.
Want to table it? Okay.
Yeah, let's table it. And
Fine.
if possible, can you get us a third quote?
I sure can.
Okay.
I sure can.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
If we do it, though, I would prefer, personally, we take it out of this year's budget instead of passing it off till next year, but just my preference.
I'll have all the information for you next month.
Sounds good? All right, next item, please.
All right, on to new business. On to new business, I do have the reading of the Arbor Day proclamation. The Green Team has been working actively to get designation back for Tree City, USA. And I did reach out to Daniel Coy through the state, and he's very excited that the town is working on the Tree City, USA designation. One of the requirements, of course, is we've passed our urban tree ordinance. Our second requirement is, of course, the reading of the proclamation, which I'm going to do this evening. And then next month, of course, on April the 18th, it will be Arbor Day. And we plan to have an event in the town. And we're going to be coordinating and putting something together for this. But let me read the proclamation into the record tonight. It says, Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our town increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, we, the Commission of the Town of Cottage City, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 18th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Town of Cottage City, and we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, we urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations, dated this 12th day of March 2025 by the Cottage City Commission.
Thank you. Next agenda item is the town manager report.
Yes, so tonight I just would like to update the commission regarding various projects and things that are happening. I do want to let everyone know, recently had a meeting with Michelle Koalis with the Walkable Watershed regarding the projects that she came and presented to the commission. The meeting, it was determined in the meeting that currently Cottage City has only raised or earned $2,093.57 of in-kind match, that we were supposed to come up with $50,000 of in-kind match towards this. Sadly, we did not meet our match requirement or our requirement. So to get these projects that we were supposed to get through this grant, the town of Cottage City would have had to come up with $48,000. So having had that discussion and explaining to Michelle.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Having explained to Michelle that the town of Cottage City did not have $48,000 to spend on these projects, she went back to the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation and was able to speak with them about getting everything in our proposal reduced for the town of Cottage City. So currently, as I stated, Cottage City has $2,093.57 of in-kind match. The town of Cottage City needs to provide $5,000 of in-kind match, which is now attainable. Cottage City will not need to convert any match to cash and will not be held responsible for the remaining $45,000 of in-kind match. Cottage City's information will remain in the Walkable Watershed Plan as it is relevant to the other port towns, and the plan is already in draft form. Cottage City will not receive any projects or be part of any remaining grant activities. This means that the Walkable Watershed will not be rehabbing the existing rain garden, completing any design work for the new conservation landscaping, or installing the stormwater planters. Walkable Watershed will hold the Rain Barrel Workshop that is scheduled for April as planned. So just to give you all an update, we were able to get out of the situation because I know the town of Cottage City did not have $48,000 to put into these projects. Any questions? Okay.
Ward 2,
Ward 2, no comment.
Ward 3, no comments. Ward 4,
No comment.
at large.
No comments.
The next item, I just want to bring you all, as you all know, we are working on the 43rd Avenue Stormwater Maintenance Project. And I have been working with CPJ, Charles Johnson and Sons, regarding the timeline for that project. And what you see on the screen is the actual timeline for getting that project done. And I've been working with LaShann Murphy with the county. And the hope is, of course, we needed to have this project completed before June 30th of this year. If we follow the timeline, I'm going to email this out to the commission. And to let you all know, if we stay on this trajectory, construction would start in June, but we would not actually be finished until August. So the plan is that LaShann is working with us to see if we can get an additional 2-month extension on it. She's working with her managers to get us an extension, and that is what I'm working towards. So the plan is, if we look at the timeline, we should be working on the RFP. Let's see. The RFP will be done in April. So by April, you guys should be seeing an RFP for the construction of the 43rd Avenue project. So we are working towards that goal. And of course, as you know, we got the 3 projects done before December. So I'm going to see if we can try to push this along. I don't think this is not obtainable. But mainly the reason why this is being held up the way it is because it has to go through county permitting. And of course, that does slow it down just a little bit. Any questions on that?
I would just say, having dealt with county permitting before, just be aware that it can take a very, very, very long time.
I've heard. The good thing is that they did, CPJ did meet with the county, and the county has assured us that they're willing to push it through because they understand the time, the grant requirements that we're under, and the fact that we have an urgency here. So that was a good thing. Anything else?
Commissioner Henderson?
No comment.
Okay. I do have a question. Did you have a chance to talk to Robin about this project in regards to the stuff that we said we wanted to do?
Yes.
And what did she say?
They've got all the, what do you mean? You're talking about the items that we discussed. Yes, she said that they're all in there. And I got you the plan. I sent them to you. I emailed them to you.
Yeah, but you were going to get them to reconfigure that, because I couldn't read that document.
Or you need me to have them reconfigure it for you?
Yeah, or at least just put it
Okay.
in plain language.
That's fine. I'll have her do that.
What they're going to
Okay,
do.
that's
'cause
fine.
I want to make sure they're doing that street correctly.
Okay, I will have her do that for you. Yes.
Because we talked about, I don't know what you call it. Is it a French trench? French drain?
Yeah, French drain.
We talked about doing the French
Okay.
drain. We talked about the holes that's in the curve, I think for the sump pumps.
Okay.
We talked about fixing that.
Okay.
For the houses on the, I think it's the right-hand side.
I'll check with her.
Because the street is at a slope and the water runs
Okay.
down
I'll
on
check
one
with her.
side.
I'll
So
check
I
with
just want to make sure everything that we discussed
Is in there.
is in there.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
That's why I wanted.
did you talk to the chief?
I didn't talk to the chief about this one. No.
I need you to talk to the chief about this because he was there when we did all of this.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that we cover everything.
Okay.
I think you were in some of the talks too.
I don't remember.
You don't remember all the details?
No. Chief will know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have to bring him in.
Okay.
That's my only question. Commissioner Givens?
So I don't want to throw a wrench in any of this, but I'm going to tell you, I went to the class. Let me just say this. Bill went to it too. At Ernest Meyer had over at Colma Manor where they put these blocks in. And they have it over at Bladensburg too, where they did the whole parking lot where they dumped a whole truckload of water and it just immediately goes down. It doesn't retain anything. They did it over at Colma Manor now. Over right there at the by the sign. Was it the sign of Burger King? The pavers. So I know for a fact that's effective because I've actually physically seen it. You remember that when they did it? We took the class. And whatever. But hey, let's keep going in that direction. If that works out, I'm cool with it. But if you need a plan B, I don't know what it costs to get that done, but that could be another option as well. Because I know it does not retain water. It cannot retain water because everything just immediately shoots down. And they have a video of it too, if you want to go and look at it. I think Bladensburg has a video.
Yeah, Bladensburg have those pavers in their parking lot at their town hall. I know some of them have come up and they had to, but you can pull it up and reset it, yeah. Commissioner Brooks, any comments, questions?
No comments from me, thank you.
All right, next up is the old firehouse.
Yes, the old firehouse, I just want to bring you up to speed that we're still waiting for the State Architecture Board for an opinion and to make you all aware that the board only meets once a month. I did have a conversation with them. They are in receipt of some documents and things. We're just waiting on a response. So as soon as I get that response, I will keep you all apprised of what's going on, okay? Moving on to the next item the last item is, of course, the house located at 3813 Cottage Terrace. The town of Cottage City will be hosting a strategic planning event this spring. regarding the concepts and thoughts about the house site located at 3813 Cottage Terrace. We want to get resident feedback, which is essential to the project, so please stay tuned. Now that the weather's turning nice, people can get out of their homes. We're kind of going to do it set up similar to how they did the, what is that called? The, no, what was the night that Josephine came? It was the, what did they, MNC PPC, what was that called?
Well, the people came and they showed
They did the thing, the strategic, like, not strategic plan, no.
You talking about the sector plan?
Yeah, the sector plan. We're going to set it up similar to how they did the sector plan. We'll have the feasibility study. We'll have the design renderings. We'll allow people to put Post-it notes, their comments and feedback, so we can kind of ascertain as to how people feel about that project next door. The DHCD does have the Strategic Demolition Fund statewide grant, just to make you all aware, for demolition of the house. The award amount can range from $50,000 to $1 million. There's no cap. The average is normally $250,000 to $500,000. Funding for fiscal year 26 would be open up later this spring in May if you guys decide that you would like us to start working on this grant. This is a 2-year award, and the project does have to be shovel-ready so the town can start using the funds. Just to give you all some notice. Yes?
Question. Since everything's sort of put on hold, pushed aside, whatever, pending the outcome of the architects board and so forth, it seems to me that it would make sense to do the planning for both the property where the house is and the property where the old firehouse is together, so that we won't have any duplication, and it would just make more sense to consider it as a whole, you know, what we want to use each space for. That's just my suggestion. It would make more sense, I think.
I'm sorry, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, so we've already said what that was going to be and how it was going to be laid out. So I don't know. So we're not going to be reduplicating what's in, and I'm not sure why that's an issue for you. But I don't want to belabor that. We can email in regards. We've already talked about that.
I'm talking about the fact that the guy who we talked about it with may no longer be doing it.
Okay, so we'll reiterate what we wanted it for, the space for. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to. You're conflating the two, and they're two separate. They're two separate. We won't be duplicating the same services. I would want to say though, one of the things we typically go after every year, although I don't think we went after it last year, is the CDBG grant. Have we not considered, because one of the things I know for a fact, I did the assessment, we have some raised sidewalks that need to be repaired. And so I'm not sure when the season is for that, but we should consider that. And I'll go back over and redo those, and then get JES out here to do a walkthrough with me, and so that we can come up with a number. But and then we can get the other numbers later. But at least we'll have a baseline, if that's.
I think we actually got money from the CBD grant for the stormwater management.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
one of the
What about
funders.
So are we applying for this year, 25, 26?
We can.
I mean, we can. I think maybe the reason why we hadn't applied again is because they had gave us a nice lump sum.
Oh,
And we're,
didn't want to double back. Okay, all right. Well, it
I'm not
doesn't-
saying that's the reason,
Yeah,
but there
but when
could
I
be.
do the assessment after we bring on board the new person, that'll be a part of the conversation, and maybe we'll do whatever we can do in a budget and you know, that we have for street maintenance, and then perhaps do another one the following year or something like that. And there's some ways we can make savings. If we do it ourselves, we can rent the grinder, and so, but that's a different story.
All righty, so that's the end of the agenda.
The only other thing I would say to bring up to the commission as well as the community, John, you want to talk about your Wind Down Wednesday? You bringing that back?
Yeah, I'll hold off.
Okay, we have time? Okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
whether
I'm
you're
not
starting it
100.
now or you're starting.
No, we are, but I was thinking March. but I got to talk to the other planner. So
Okay.
I'll have something for the next
And-
meeting.
And dumpster day. So the only other thing is dumpster day has been identified. Oh, you want to go ahead? Go ahead.
So Commissioner Givens has been actively putting together Dumpster Day. We have identified Saturday, April 26th as April 26th and 27th as dumpster days. On April 26th, the Saturday is going to be cars only. And Sunday, of course, will be cars and pickup trucks. April 26th and April 27th is dumpster day from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. both days. First day, Saturday, is cars only. Sunday, the 27th, is going to be cars and pickup trucks.
Bill.
And it will be put out on Constant Contact in the coming days, as well as in the town newsletter.
And we could use a couple of volunteers just to help guide people, to make sure that they're not throwing any hazardous material in there. They don't have to pick up anything, but just say, put it in this dumpster, put it at, oh no, you can't bring that, that kind of thing. So I know Bill has always volunteered his time. I'm not sure if he's available. I will volunteer my time on that Sunday. I likely will not be able to volunteer on that Saturday. But if we can find someone, at least one person or two people, just to kind of, again, shuffle people through, that's all.
Where are the dates again?
6 and 27. In the past, didn't we have an officer on site?
We have had that for like traffic, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's when it was kind of like they were doing cars and trucks, and then it was just kind of messy, and it was too many. But now that we've separated, it's, we've separated that what's the name? It's usually not a problem anymore. But I wouldn't be opposed to if an officer was available to kind of help us, get to be on scene.
All right, so we are now at the point where we will be hearing from our public comment section. If anyone is in the public, please either raise your hand or put your comment in the chat. We ask that you please identify yourself and state your address, if you are a Cottage City resident, that is. Any comments? Any hand raised?
No hands raised.
Okay, any comments from the public in the room? Mr. Kopecki? Any comments? No comments from the audience member? No comments in the chat? No hands raised? So we are now at the end. It is 10:47 p.m. I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Brooks, so moved as read.
Thank you.
Even if we just take 5 minutes for a closed session, I'd really like to get.
No, I ain't going to closed session. I'm going home. And plus, we didn't announce it.
Earlier about the,
Second.
Sorry. Commissioner Brooks made the motion to adjourn. Commissioner Givens made the second. Call for the vote. Those in favor say aye. Ward. Henderson.
Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Motion passes. No nays or abstentions. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you.